favor. This is one more, please. Hello, and welcome to episodio número 30 of Otra, por favor.
Otra, por favor.
There we go. She remembers.
She got it.
Yeah, David, you gotta step it up now, bro, because someone here can take your spot.
Real quick.
Real quick. So, as you guys know, segundo round con esta Michelle.
Thank you for having me. I bugged you to have me on.
It was like a thing that I was also thinking of. Like, I wanted to bring you in, especially since the season's over, and it was like, you know what? I want to get the scoop of the scoop of the scoop. El chisme y todo eso.
Exactly. There was a lot of emotions. I think we were talking beforehand. I was like, what did y'all think of the end of the season? A lot of happy faces for no reason.
We were getting into it early on, but now we're happy to have you here, having this opportunity to speak with you. Actually, it's our first time meeting, so bienvenida.
Gracias. I'm ready to talk anything that you want to talk about. I'm happy to be on again. Thank you so much for the invite. And I'm just excited to hear what y'all thought, what you think, what's going on in the soccer world, and, kind of getting to know each other a little bit more.
It's funny because a lot of the stuff that we were preparing for today kind of like changed or reaffirmed a lot of things that we had in mind. And that's how it is. Like with information, I'm pretty sure you deal with it every day.
Oh my God, it's so frustrating.
What's it like for you?
It's you have to stay on your toes because breaking news happens at all hours. Sometimes when I'm at the gym, I'm technically not on, and then it's like, I get an email like, hey, breaking, like, blah, blah, blah. And if, social media is now the king of everything. So if you don't, tweet that thing or say something, then you're behind, right? So, it's fun. Everything changes very fast because everything is, quote, unconfirmed until you confirm it. And you also don't want to tell people the wrong thing, but yeah, that's how it is, life.
Have you ever told anyone the wrong thing?
Oh yeah,
What a question, Richie. Have you ever messed up?
Hey, you know what?
We all mess up. That's how we learn. Exactly.
It's
how we learn.
It's the beautiful thing about being humans. You have another chance.
No, and that's why sometimes I even stop myself and like, okay, wait, what am I about to tweet? And then I'm like, no, I'm good. Like, I know this. Like, for example, today, diving into Austin FC, like Chris Bills tweeted out that Danny, I struggle with his last name. Hosen. Okay, I always want to say Hosen. Right. But
Hosen sounds good to me.
Yeah, Hosen.
Yes. And Ulises Segura, as y'all saw, they're coming back for next season. And I actually saw them training. I just didn't say anything because I was there for a different reason. And I wasn't there to be reporting or anything. But, I wasn't restricted to say, hey, don't say this. But, they were training. They look good. They look like, they're working because they didn't work all year. So I'm not surprised that they're back. But I was a little surprised about other names, but I'll let y'all say that.
That's awesome. I know you've been on the podcast before, Michelle, but if you don't mind, for our listeners, just giving us a little reminder of what you do, who you are here in Austin.
Yeah, so Michelle Sanchez, I am with Telemundo Austin. I am a news producer, sports aficionado, sports. I love soccer, so I consider myself the soccer sports reporter as well on my own account as well. I do put like my content obviously on my newscast because that's my job, but in a perfect world I would be a sports reporter, soccer beat reporter for a publication, but right now everything's like everywhere. I have to cover news as well, so I'm a news. You may see me. I'm at press conferences.
Right on.
I'm at interviewing, doing talking to players and stuff on the side. But yeah, I also produce news. So if you watch Telemundo, that's 86 homicides already in this year. So,
Sheesh.
Compared to last year, is
That's-
it good, bad, igual, más o menos?
apparently, it's according to the numbers, it's higher
Higher.
than last year.
It's interesting to look at those types of statistics because like violent crime has increased by 50% since the 90s, but I mean
The
homicides.
population has also increased.
Homicides. I mean, it just
Right,
sells a lot of
right,
news.
right.
So that's another thing.
Michelle, I have a lot of respect for what you do, working in the news, working in the media, and a lot of that comes from my sister. She does a little bit of that herself for KERA out in Dallas.
Ale?
Nice.
Yeah, and she
Nice.
actually she went to our alma mater.
Oh, nice.
You'd see she was
Yeah.
in the comm school, and
Cool.
I think she graduated 2017.
2017.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
So I don't know if y'all were-
No, I've never bumped into her. I graduated a little before.
Gotcha.
But what does she do? News producer?
No, she was a producer for a while in Miami, but now she is a full-time journalist and running a lot of the political beat in Dallas, covering a lot of city council and keeping politicians accountable, which I hear a lot of her struggles
Oh, my
as
God.
a young woman in the industry, and it's tough. So
Very tough.
makes you
but
respect
I
a lot what you
respect
do.
her more than anything. Like I cover soccer and the news itself, but I think a little bit more of the pressure is when you cover a specific thing, like politics, especially in Texas, especially. It could be very, very
And
Oh, yeah.
Austin.
for sure,
murky.
For sure.
and-
but even in covering sports has its own politics, and I hope we get
Right.
into
Oh,
some of that
yes.
too, because it's interesting to talk about your role in the media and seeing the type of access that you have and the type of issues and kind of challenges you face.
Yeah.
Speaking
for
of
sure.
access, someone was with having a conversation with the Tata Martine on the press conference yesterday.
El Mister.
El profe.
El profe. I was so yesterday. Was it yesterday? No, actually earlier today. I was listening to Club Deportes con este
Jorge.
Jorge Insurralde, and he had said something. I want to go back a little bit to like switch things up of what we have planned. And I remember, let's say from a couple of months ago, there was somehow the relationship between some of the Spanish-speaking press and like Austin FC wasn't well. A lot of it is just misunderstandings of releasing the list and whatnot. But what he said, and it was pretty good, is he was grateful for the fact that Austin FC were the ones that planned the press conference with Tata, and it wasn't exclusive for local reporters like in Austin. So how was that? Like, is it true? Is it, how?
Yeah. So the head of PR for Austin FC reached out to us over the weekend. It was on Sunday, actually, is when I found out that we were going to talk to Tata on Monday, which was yesterday. And he was like, hey, guys, we have an opportunity. You have like a 15-minute window to talk to Tata Martine. Obviously, we all know Mexico versus Chile. A lot of people are excited, et cetera, et cetera. So,
I just sold my ticket, by the way.
you sold your ticket?
I just got my because I'm doing I'm gonna volunteer at the stadium,
Oh, okay.
so I just got the notification.
Oh, wow.
Look at you,
Did you,
Richie.
did
What
you
a
see
volunteer.
my eyes? I was like,
This
you
is-
sold your ticket? I couldn't believe it. You were like, oh my God. You were like cursing at me. Just kidding.
What, are you going?
Yes, of
Oh, you have
course.
to be there.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
have to be
I'm
there.
going to. I'm taking my pops.
Oh, yeah.
Aw,
Yeah.
that's the beautiful
sure.
thing about it. But yeah, going back to that. So yeah, Jorge is correct. Austin FC coordinated this with Gabe. So he is in charge of public relations and marketing for Mex Tour. So whenever they do the tour here in the United States, by who I mean by they is La Selección Mexicana, Mexican national soccer team. And so he's in charge of that. And so I guess they both know each other from the soccer community. And he was able to set it up. And yeah, because I hear like it could be a mess with the federation trying to set up, and they're very strict, and they are. From another experience that I had with Club América Femenino, the women's team.
Was it like this summer or?
I think when they came and played against Austin
Elite,
yes, and Yeah, so they were just like hunting. I guess they didn't record on their side, and so I recorded on my side. And they were like, "We need a copy of that video that you had." And I was like, I didn't do anything wrong. I didn't even ask anything controversial."
Dang. So hold on, they didn't record the press conference. They organized.
They didn't record our one-on-one interview. It wasn't a press conference, just because I requested. I mean, a lot of people don't, the following for women is lesser than for men. So I had the opportunity to do that. Mm-hmm. So I reached out to the right people and set that up. But in the nutshell, yes, they are very strict when it comes to these things. But I'm sure it's not the only one.
Yeah.
But yes, he is
Se
correct.
preocupan por lo que no tienen y en vez de mejorar otras cosas.
They just don't want, people to edit stuff the wrong way, make it sound a weird way.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest dangers of the media nowadays. Everything is some things can be taken out of context, and people could take advantage of. Even us recording right here, so people could chop this up and make it sound like we're saying something ridiculous. And imagine someone in a position of leadership and power in certain organizations.
Yeah,
everything is a little bit tougher. Everything's a little bit tougher.
Yeah, but it's kind of like, what controversial? I already know you, and it's like, I don't think she was saying anything controversial.
No, yeah.
Trust in Michelle, we trust.
I hope I don't say it. It's, journalism has interesting thing about it where people think some reporters are like, gotcha, journalism. And that's not really, that's not how I work. We all work differently. One of the things that I was taught when I was at UT is that the story is never about me, it's about them. So I do have an issue with, and I saw some reporters this year, when they made the story about themselves and it wasn't about the players or the team. And I was just like, the focus shouldn't be on you. But we all work very differently. So that was just my 2 cents. That you see, and it's not just one person, it's just people. Sometimes it gets lost in your work, and where you're also trying to be a TV presenter or someone that's being taken serious, like on camera and stuff like that. So I don't know. There's murky
water. Was it Sonny
too.
or not? Because Sonny is good on my list, pero si no, ese pato le
I know. Sonny, how dare he? One time I was in the elevator, I saw him at Q2, and I'm being so sarcastic. He's really nice, very gentleman-like, and I had like a little linen, and he's like, just took it off of me, and I was like, oh, thanks.
And in the way,
I like
con esa mirada que tiene de serio.
I know. I was like, yeah. I was like, okay, thank you, Sonny. And I know Sonny, he's nice and everything, and I know y'all had him on.
Yeah.
But yeah. So no, it wasn't Sonny. Sonny's good, but
good,
him and his career is going very well.
That's
so I'm
good.
happy for him.
Yeah, I think we're all happy for him. From last week, whatever it was talked about is like, the way he presents soccer to the city, it's good. Linking people with people and organizations. Pepe getting that job in the ATX Foundation through Sony, not being able to, go and then covering for him. And then after that, like, he learned more about it.
Yeah, no, Sonny and Pepe have a great story that I once had the privilege of also talking to Pepe and Sonny, and I saw how that unfolded, and I was like, well, this is what people mean when it's like they say soccer community. Soccer has always lived here. Kids from Del Valle, Sonny from Georgetown, Cedar Park.
I
always get both confused.
We rep that Cedar Park.
Same thing.
That's 78613.
I
Let's
know
go.
This, but I always get
Mismo rancho.
I know. Like literally, I'm like, wait, how did y'all divide this up?
It's a beautiful thing to see the soccer community, and having the opportunity to interview people like yourself. You guys are true. Yeah, you people are true ambassadors of football, and the beautiful thing it's doing for this city. So, this is
very
privilege.
Very
it's a privilege and honor to have you here, because I know you can be somewhere else, but the fact that you're spending time with us again.
I could be in my house watching Narcos.
Chilling, watching Narcos.
No, I was really excited. I'm very excited to be here. I really am. I'm excited to be here. And
you got any hot takes on Narcos?
I root for the bad guys. Oh my goodness, I'm
That's the whole
so
point.
evil.
Who doesn't root for the
I
bad
know,
guys?
I think that's a hot take.
Bad Bunny, was he good or was he bad?
No, wait. Are you on the third season? Or?
Now I am.
Okay.
I haven't
Antes de
finished.
que-
Oh, okay.
I
No
haven't
spoilers.
finished.
No spoilers. No spoilers.
but
No, you
yes.
meant J Balvin.
Oh,
Wait, J Balvin's on there?
No.
Oh.
she got excited for a second.
But I was changing it up so have your back.
No, I mean I did see Bad Bunny, and I like him. I just didn't understand why a Puerto Rican was there. I was like, oh.
He actually said it pretty good,
He
like
did,
slang
but
in
I
Spanish.
couldn't take him as not to be a Puerto Rican. Hot take.
He's got a lot of love for Mexico.
Yeah.
And I will say this, like I'm being married to a Puerto Rican. Some Puerto Ricans have a lot of love for Mexico, man.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Nice.
Madison surprised me. She's more Mexican than me.
No.
Sometimes.
Shout out. Shout
Se
out.
echa los gritos y todo.
Yeah, I remember that.
Cute.
We were that. It was like 3 in the morning and sacaron los corridos de la Alexis.
Yeah. My wife is known to do a little
Y'all
grito
party
here and there.
hard.
Man, we
When we're together,
when
when
we're
we're together,
together.
but when we're
Just
apart, I crash early.
or in the garage.
I love it.
Yeah, so that day at your house, remember, dude, it was like we were looking for Coque. And like, where's Coque?
I was
And
chilling,
We didn't see you.
in the
You were
garage.
chilling in the garage for himself. Ahí está.
Yeah.
dormidito.
Did y'all have a Friendsgiving? Is this where you're
We
getting at?
didn't have a Friendsgiving. It was just a random get together, but we are planning
The ladies
Christmas.
are planning something.
our ladies are planning.
Yeah, I got
una
the memo,
pijamada.
earlier. Like,
Like
we're gonna
Christmas.
go. You guys are skipping soccer Thursday the 9th, and I was like, ¿por qué?
So next week?
Yeah, next
Yeah.
week. Oh, we're gonna have a get together at Madison and Coque's house, and I was like,
Sweet.
The women are organized. Our women are very like there's a Google Doc happening right now.
Yeah.
Oh,
like
wow.
building right now.
we're over here,
They're
you
more
know,
organized than I am. Good
For sure.
because the only thing we'll probably bring is like chips and a bunch of beer.
Yeah. That's all you really need, though.
But
That's
tell
true.
us a little bit about yourself. Like how was your Thanksgiving holiday? And
Oh yeah, my Thanksgiving holiday was very great. I kind of had like the whole week off unexpectedly because I felt under the weather on Monday and Tuesday. Then I went in Wednesday, and then everyone was off like Thursday and Friday. So it was nice. It was very chill. I just hung out with the family. I did go get my Christmas tree
Ooh.
at Noel's Christmas
Natural?
tree. Yes.
Ooh, dang.
And they had like
Keeping
a
it
really
classic.
big one
Yeah.
that I wanted, but of course it's not going to fit anywhere. But it was like 1,100. But the reason I
Dollars?
wanted, yes,
Ay.
No, wait,
I
pesos.
I know. It was so big. It was beautiful. Like I was like,
never
this
know.
is Christmas. I know.
What does a grand give you in Christmas tree? Like how
Yeah.
can it fit in this?
Is it like
it's
bushy
bigger than
or?
this?
Oh my gosh! So apparently it could fit like in a hotel. So,
Oh
Ay,
wow!
so it's like huge. And here's the
Is it
funny
like
thing.
the Empire State, like that calories?
Right.
Ah,
Está bien largo, está bien
Rockefeller
grande.
over here.
See? Literally, kind of.
Wow.
Maybe a miniature, but it was really big. But the whole purpose of them having it there, or not a purpose, I'm sure they brought it to sell it, but they sold it to a UT fraternity. That fraternity every year,
Yeah, they all can afford it, yeah.
every year they decorate it, and then they do what they do, ritual, whatever. I don't know what fraternities do. And then
Crazy stuff.
Read the Bible and pray.
I'm sure. And then they burn it like on 2 days later. So they just burn $1,100.
They buy a tree and they burn it 2 days later after buying it.
Not even like through Christmas. This is what the guy was telling me. Like this is like a thing, a ritual that they do, and I'm like,
You know how many pictures I can do in my photo business with that tree?
right.
Those-
That's
Like,
funny,
I
man.
just
So you got your
wow.
Christmas tree. You
So I got my
decorated
Christmas
it.
tree, and I decorated it on Thanksgiving Day, and we just spent it at home. Try to do some Black Friday shopping, but honestly, I hate going to the store these days. Like I'm so accustomed to just going online and buying everything. So I tried. I just bought some. I'm so old school. Some Apple headphones, but the ones with the cord. No, the ones with the cord.
Oh, she got the ones with the cord. She's keeping it vintage. You know what I'm saying?
I like it.
That's in 1998.
I don't like my AirPods because every time I put them on, they disconnect to my podcast that I'm listening to or my music. My ears are so little, so sometimes my AirPod falls out. And it's just
dang.
I have the opposite problem because my ear lobe is so big. Siempre se me cae.
Or maybe my ears are
orejón.
big, but my ears
Hey
are
man,
little.
Apple needs to step up the game and
I know,
make
dude.
sure everybody's
I don't
ears
know.
can work.
Everyone's accommodated. So that's why I like the one with the string, but
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
they break over time.
No turkey? No turkey in the
Yes,
plans?
of course. We cooked our traditional turkey. By we, I mean my mother. She's the cook in the family. I don't cook
Sous
at all.
chef, you were just like,
Mhm.
hey,
Yeah.
hey,
I-
Madre,
dale más.
Sí.
tú
Sabe bien
dale,
rico.
tú dale. Salió bien. So
Creo en ti.
exactly.
That's awesome.
So yeah, that's it. And then I was watching Narcos.
Stop.
Sounds like a really restful,
Yeah, it's
nice.
oh my gosh!
holiday for you.
Yes, after very, very, very busy weeks, and you know, it's not very nice during the end of the year in news.
Mhm.
Everything kind of just slows down, and then it seems like it's starting to pick up with this new variant. So, not good news.
Very, very
Hopefully.
not good news.
Yeah, I was driving from Houston from Houston back to Austin on Thanksgiving night, like around 5 o'clock in the morning, and it was like I did see more movement compared to last year, which brought a little joy because I'm the opposite. I like going to the store and ahí pelearme con la viejita por la televisión.
Oh wow!
Nada,
You like to
still.
cause problems.
Yeah, or they come to me. and I was glad the fact that I saw more cars out on the road. I saw more people out. Like Buc-ee's was full.
Right.
That was pretty good. Like for me, is whenever I see that amount of people, I get excited. Like for me, it's like okay, the economy is, doing good.
It's
Yeah.
good for the economy.
It's good for the
Good
economy.
for the economy. Yeah, but yeah. So
That's awesome.
But then the online shopping option also, it's a good thing.
I
Too.
was gonna say I just got some tickets yesterday to Mexico City, so I'll be going to Mexico in January. But it was really
Nice.
cheap. Like I had a really good
Yeah.
discount.
Have you
and
been
all
there
that.
before?
Yes.
Sí.
Yes.
So,
I love it. I love it. So I'll be going again.
It sounds like you got exciting plans. I remember listening to your previous episode with Otra, por favor, and you spoke about not really having time to yourself.
Oh yes.
Not really having
no.
time
Right.
off. So
I
it's nice to
know.
hear that
It
things are
is.
changing a little
Yes,
bit. Give yourself that
yes.
you time.
I know. I wanted to take a month off, but due to other things that the future or universe wants me to have, I will
freaking
not.
Austin FC.
I know. No, but it's good. It's good.
That's
It's good.
good.
I'm fine. I'll be working through the holidays and stuff, but hopefully next year it is on my bucket list to take like Christmas off,
Mm-hmm.
go to Europe, and
Ooh.
just like I don't know, enjoy life over there for a little bit. Just like for a month though. Nothing crazy. I don't
This
wanna-
Christmas or future Christmas?
The next-
hopefully next one.
Oh, okay,
like-
okay.
That's
Like
that's like my
2022 or 2023?
bucket. 2022.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's gonna be right after the World Cup.
The World Cup. So.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why I got.
It's gonna be an interesting one because if you go over there, a ver si gana un
Yes.
europeo, and especially if you go to the the country that wins
I
it,
know. So I'm like excited. I'm
So
That's
planning,
good.
que gane
manifesting.
España.
Oh, dude, yeah.
No, que gane Italia. Since they can't, they're barely basically not gonna make it.
True.
Imagine they come back.
Mm-hmm.
That would be bad. I
No, I
mean,
don't know.
es lo que pasa en la Liga Mexicana. Los del repechaje ganan el campeonato.
Pues sí.
And Italy, for whatever reason, siempre empiezan bien despacio. Like they're always slow on
Yeah.
tournaments, and they just pick up. Hopefully, they have a little bit of that luck.
Yeah.
'Cause it'll be sad to see a World Cup without Italia.
Another one.
Yeah, another one.
Yeah, another one.
So damn.
Especially because they're the most classiest when they get off the plane.
Sí.
They got the suits.
But I do want to see Cristiano and what people say is going to be his last one.
Yeah, talk to us about
Cristiano?
about your feelings about
Go for it.
that.
Go for it. I think last time we didn't really
'cause
talk about him.
I know you're a huge fan of Cristiano.
I am a fan.
I've become a fan of him as well over the years. But you being like a diehard fan, like a to-heart fan, what does it feel? What do you think about him and his struggles with the Portuguese national squad trying to qualify?
Yeah, I mean, imagine you trying to carry a whole national soccer team on your shoulders. Like, that's crazy. Obviously, look, it's a team effort.
Right.
But, there are certain players that bring the finishing touches, the way you can finish a game, which is by winning, scoring goals, which is what we need in Austin FC, but that's another conversation.
Which we'll get to.
Which we'll get
Shots
to.
fired.
I'm just kidding. No, calmados.
We keep it real. We keep it real here.
But yeah, I mean, it would be sad. I mean, he's an incredible player. He's changed, the game of soccer. You see this nice competition through the years, through with him and Messi, and Messi just won another Balón de Oro and whatnot. So not
That was,
seeing him.
loud.
Oh no, I really just.
It was such a natural
I really
thing.
did.
No, it's just the timing was pretty funny.
I know.
No.
That was a good one. But yeah, it just seeing that, not seeing him in the World Cup would be a little sad. But I mean, we didn't see United States in the last World Cup, so we weren't that sad. So we'll be fine.
Yeah, I think.
Just kidding. The shots fired.
Sheesh.
Ese sí.
Now we got
I'm
we're
just
locked and loaded here.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Man.
There's like a lot of shots fired every time we talk about soccer, one
So-
way or another.
So much to be said. Sometimes
know.
indirectas también.
Sí.
I know.
Not even trying.
Directas, indirectas, de repente, dije eso.
Ah, sí, ¿verdad? Lo dice mi tía. Sí, ¿verdad? Sí dije eso, ¿no? I guess.
Yeah.
Nah, but yeah, those are my thoughts on it. I mean, may the best one qualify, and then we'll see from there. But
Who would you prefer?
who would I prefer? I mean, like I would love to see Cristiano, but I mean, I really don't care. Because I guess it just doesn't affect me personally. Like it does, but I mean, si no le toca, pues no le toca.
The best have to make it.
Like he's
you know?
done so much for his club.
He's done a lot.
Mm-hmm.
He's won a Euro
And-
Cup, hasn't he?
Euro Cup,
Right,
yeah.
and individually, like personally, he's done so much.
Mhm.
So, and he's been to World Cup. So, but yes, it would be sad not to see him and see
Right.
Messi on there.
For sure. What were your thoughts on the Balón de Oro, since we had touched on the subject?
Yeah, I mean, just like everyone, some people were very, very happy, and some people were very, very disappointed. I just thought that I was like everyone else. I was like another one. I mean, I understand the recognition, but yeah, I think there was other candidates that were a little bit more deserving. What about you?
I think it left a bad taste on a lot of people's mouth, especially looking at the season that Lewandowski had been having up to that point. And it's tough to look at because, last year was such a odd year with COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's when Lewandowski was on fire, ripping the Bundesliga apart and having a great champions and everything. But it's tough. I think Messi fans will be happy, but everybody else is kind of looking at it a little strange. And anytime you get anything FIFA involved, it rings a lot of questionable bells.
Right.
You do?
I don't think Messi deserved it. He's done great. He's done well. I mean, he's my favorite player, not of all time, but top 3. But I don't think he should have won this one. I think it was time to switch it up and give it to Lewandowski.
Yeah.
Because now we're gonna go back to the trail of Messi, Ronaldo, which it kind of gets boring, and you're
Yeah.
not giving the other players that are winning stuff
Right.
an opportunity to compete.
And
I
it
mean,
gets-
they're competing
yeah.
but to win something like that in that caliber.
Right.
And it gets boring, too, when everybody watching the world of football sees that these guys are no longer in their prime. They're
Right.
performing well, but there's other players that are shining and doing crazy, amazing things with football
Right.
in their clubs. And
Wow.
I think the argument was that they gave Messi a lot of credit for the Copa America
Yeah.
for winning that. Which,
Pero, yeah,
I mean, that is an argument,
that's
but
a good argument.
that's
también,
one side, you know what
That's
I mean?
one side. And I mean, in Barcelona, he carried the team up to as best he could.
Right.
Pero it's just, I mean, Lewandowski, he capitalized with his opportunity
Mhm.
of winning the Champions League
Yep.
and the way they won it, and the team, how he helped them get better. And he doesn't seem to be the type of player that is muy como líder, but it felt like a lot of them were, behind him and on that Champions League. So it was just, I really didn't want Messi to win. I wish Lewandowski should have taken it.
Yeah. It's all politics, man.
True.
It is, especially in FIFA.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, we have a World Cup coming up in Qatar. Who
Right.
in their right mind would ever thought Qatar would host the World Cup? I mean,
Right.
Joseph Blatter did.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And his sentencing. He's going to be in jail for a long time.
So, we changing the subject.
Sure.
What are your plans for Guadalupe Reyes?
Okay. You asked me that, but I was so lost as to what that meant. What does that phrase mean?
So
Porque ese sí no lo conozco.
like mid December, el cumpleaños de la Virgencita, all the way to Reyes Magos.
Oh my God, I'm
So
such
you
a bad
party,
Catholic.
like, or Mexican. I'm not Catholic.
Okay. I don't know. I was
So
like, because
pretty much people call it. I didn't hear that until like a couple of years ago. And it was
I've never heard it.
Guadalupe
Okay.
Reyes is from el cumpleaños de la Virgencita, fiesta hasta el Día de Reyes.
So you're asking me what I'm going to do as a
what's
party
your,
sense?
you know, what are your plans for the holidays?
Oh,
like
for the holiday. That's the first time I've heard it. I mean, siempre he escuchado fiesta, como feliz fiestas, y blah, blah, blah. Pero anyways, long story short, because it's very boring, I'm just going to be working. Yeah. I got pulled to work Christmas Eve, and I'm sure you know this, like news, like you have to work holidays. So I'm working Christmas Eve, I'm working Christmas Day. Obviously it's on a Saturday, so everyone's off, but I'm also working New Year's Eve, and then my coworker's taking a few days off, so I'll be working doubles. And then I produce the 5 and 10 p.m. show, so I won't be getting off till like 9:30 or so.
Do you need us to come bring you like un pomo, algo que te ayude a...
That's really
Te traemos
nice.
lo que caiga.
I don't know. If y'all have a Christmas party, I'll stop by real
Por
quick
ahí,
and say, hey. If y'all have it here, since it's right down the street.
Coco will be in Switzerland. Will you be back? Or no, you'll be there. Right?
No, I'll be there. So I got married in March, and we never went.
That was a question?
Yeah. So we never went on our honeymoon like right after March. So we've been kind of planning this trip to be around the Christmas and New Year's holidays. And that's the plan. Being in Switzerland for Christmas and being in Paris for New Year's. A ver si me topo con Messi, but he'll probably be in Argentina.
Wow,
I'll
that's...
be like, you didn't deserve that balloon. Okay.
That's a really nice holiday season that you're having. Switzerland is on my list, and Netherlands as well.
My wife was going to go on March of last year.
Yeah.
But that's when they started closing everything down.
Dude.
And she was like a week before the trip, and they had to cancel everything.
Yeah, you should get insurance just in case.
I'm getting a lot of hearing your story, like deja vu vibes, because same thing might happen, unfortunately, with the Omarion variant.
Omarion.
No, actually, they were talking about how to pronounce it. Is it Omicron or Omicron?
Omarion.
You know what I'm saying?
Yo nada más sigo la nueva variante ya, porque ya me confundió.
Yeah, so the Omicron variant, from what I've read and heard and like listened to on different podcasts, it's something very serious. Like it's more contagious, it can make you sicker, and the vaccine is not as effective. So all that stuff sounds really scary, especially with Trip's plan, but we're just gonna take it as it goes, you know.
Yeah.
In this world, especially nowadays, things are out of your hands.
I know.
And you just gotta make the best out of it.
I just hope you have insurance coverage for your trips.
We should be good for the most part. We should be good. We might have to cut our losses here and there, but for the most part, I think we'll be all right.
Este vato hace mucho dinero.
See?
Wow. I don't know about mucho.
Yeah, because they're shutting down borders and stuff.
Yeah,
already,
so they've already shut down like Greece and certain other nations, South African nations. And it is getting crazy again, but crossing our fingers. And if things don't work out, well, it just wasn't our time to go, and we'll spend the holidays with the family. So
that would be unfortunate.
Right,
that would be unfortunate. But hopefully, more people are vaccinated, and hopefully, as they start learning more and more.
I'm like triple vaccinated. I got it like 3 times.
I got the trial.
You did get the trial.
Whenever,
that's right. I do remember.
Summer, yeah. I'm like, and I'm gonna get the booster whenever it comes up, because by the time I got my first dose of Pfizer and the trial, it was like a good amount of time. So it's like, okay, it's time to get the...
Yeah, I just got mine too. Which is why I was off last week. Yeah, because I got sick or whatever. But I mean, that was fine.
Richie, what about you, man? What are your plans for the holidays?
Dude, good question. I don't know.
You don't
know? Not wants to stay here, and I'm gonna, babe, if you're listening to this, I think if we stay in Austin, because my family, they're going to Mexico, except for me and my brother, because, personal reasons we can't go. I mean, we can go when they come back. We're thinking of like stay here, probably hit up a place like, I know Lazarus Brewery was having something 2 years ago for Christmas, so something like that, where we can go and not be at the house, like go somewhere and celebrate. I'm a home person. I could be a home person, but like when it comes to the like the holidays, especially
Parties.
if I see my family like all in
Having fun.
having fun. I'm over here at
Get
home
FOMO.
watching. Yeah, like nah.
Oh yeah.
I need to
FOMO.
plan ahead to avoid the FOMO. So I think that's the how do you call it, negotiation card I have with my wife.
Yeah.
FOMO's a big thing, man. I feel like with social media, you can see what everyone's doing at all times. It can hurt you, especially around the holidays. I know there's been times when I've spent certain events at one place and my family somewhere else, and seeing that, it's a little bit hard,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, being away from your family during the holidays is so tricky to me, because you just want to be with them. Like everyone's, well, at least in my family, like, we just like get together in the living room and we just start like dancing. And
Oh
it's so
yeah,
fun.
no,
That's
we
always good. That's
we
always
did
good.
we did that this Saturday.
Oh yeah, that's right.
We had a big family post Thanksgiving feast,
Yeah.
and of course it ended up in a lot of dancing and a lot of zapateados, and
Nice.
It was a good time.
Madison zapateándole.
yeah, for sure, she loves to dance, man. She's up and down.
What's your favorite holiday moment? Like you would say you remember? Like
Mine?
yeah.
Mine is just like seeing like all my family together. I mean, usually like during Christmas or everything, like I don't know, it's Christmas, New Year's Eve, family that's like in Mexico comes here and we just like get together and we're just around like, the barbecue, because we eat carne like every Mexican. We do a carne asada, some taquitos. And yeah, just being around the family. I mean, I think that's the nicest, thing around. And then getting my tequila, because I go hard.
Little
in the
ponche.
paint with,
Hey.
I'm the only.
Piquete.
Yep. My cousins are slower drinkers, and so
Yeah.
they're like, "Oh,
Y tú
just
estás
one,"
aquí.
and I'm like, "Honey, I don't have kids. I have problems, and let's go."
That's the beauty. That's the beauty of it, being a young professional. That's awesome.
I'm like, I just
Seeing-
have
yeah.
problems.
That's what's up.
Give me a
It's funny
tequila.
'cause my dad is actually like now accepting the idea that I drink. So he always like, pero no mucho. Back then he looked at me like, sabes que, Dios está viendo. Luego, sí, yo también.
Oh my God, you're annoying. Just kidding.
Pero,
Yeah. I think for me, like, back, if you look at your childhood, for some reason it's like way more special than like now. You just have those memories, and a memory that sticks with me is just the Christmas day is my grandma's birthday. So her name is Natividad. So like Christmas is like a huge thing in my family, because we always throw, it's like a birthday.
yeah.
It's Jesus' birthday. It's like everybody's birthday, man.
Yeah.
And we throw a big party for her because she loves to dance, and she's like pretty much like the matriarch. So in the past, I can remember just having her, my grandpa, all my cousins, and tios and tias just in like one small little house, and just dancing and popping fireworks and just laughing,
Yeah.
And I feel like the older I get, I don't know if you guys have a similar experience, but it's harder to have those moments where everybody's pulled in, because life has a way of taking you in different directions.
For sure.
And in my case, it's been harder to get the whole family together, which is tough, but you gotta deal with it. I mean, you find beauty in different things.
You got to cherish the moments, and kind of going back to what you're saying. I think you said you're going to the soccer game with your dad next Wednesday.
Yeah,
so.
for sure.
So yeah, I mean, talk to me. I was talking to his name's Gabe, and he was telling me asking me about what it means to have soccer here in Austin, but what does that really mean to me? And so we were discussing it, and he's doing research for his master's paper, I think, that he's doing. And I was just telling him, like, at least in the Hispanic community, soccer's like home to us. It's like a religion. So if you don't have something that is soccer in the city that you live, then you don't have that tunnel to spend that moment, that quality time watching soccer with your family that really feels like home. Because before I used to watch soccer games at home with my family, but now every weekend when the season was up and going for Austin FC. You know, we were out there, even though I was like in media, sometimes like we were out there like just like bonding, and it was more like home. So I was telling him that's what soccer means to me, because even though being from Austin, going to UT, that felt foreign to me still. I was like, I like football. I was like, but it's not my sport that I grew up watching. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I think that's what that means for people when they say, what does soccer mean to you? And especially the people that are underrepresented in our community, which is, you know, the minorities, which is Hispanics, the majority, because that's what we follow. So I was just kind of telling. And so I was wondering, like, what does that bring? What does that mean to you? What does soccer mean to you? And I know we kind of talked about it last time, but kind of made me reflect a little bit more and dive a little deeper onto that.
So I think for me is like same. A lot of it is knowing that you don't. I mean, we follow so many teams, you know, around the world and in Mexico, right? So that feels like home, but away from home. I mean, right. When was the last time I went to a Barcelona game in Barcelona? Never. I've only been to one America game in the Azteca. So having a team, and I mean, Dynamo was in Houston when I lived there. So I'll go to every game I could, but it wasn't as something like Austin from the first day of the season till the last day, like go to every game almost. And I think it was something that because it's there. I mean, the result, yes, it was a crappy result. I mean, at the end, it got better at home. But at home.
That was the key.
That was the key. Oh man, I caught that. Sorry.
But the fact that we can talk about our team. Yeah. I mean, some people might not like it. Some people might like it. Some people, it brought like say you took minorities, but also people that never knew about soccer. Like it changed. I would say it changed Austin's way of thinking of sports forever.
Yeah.
You know, because we actually have something that's ours and something that it's something that can bring white people, black people, you know, Hispanics, Asians, Indians, everyone in the same place. And also one thing that we see is you have different levels of, you know, you always have the people in el palco and, you know, the box office. Okay.
Nice.
And then you have, you know, like people that like the supporter sections, the rowdy ones, and then people that just want to go watch a game on the, you know, on the everywhere else in the stadium. So that's what like soccer is. It just brings everyone together. Like America, for example, is a team that dicen el América es para los o muy pobres o muy ricos.
Yeah.
Either for the super wealthy or the super poor.
Right.
But it's like that. Like for me, it's just bringing everybody together and watch. No matter what it is, it's not you, but it's about a team. Like not even the players. It's about Austin FC itself.
Right. It's about the community. And you said something that I connect with a lot. It's, even though I'm not from Mexico, it's home away from home. Like you feel like you're at home away from home. And that being said, like if I'm with my mother, I feel like I'm at home. And I'm sure she feels like she's at home without being at home, you know, because that's what she did when she was in Mexico. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of prideful Mexicans, Mexican Americans, Mexican followers, or aficionados of La Selección Mexicana when they come here next week and see. And I know Tata, you know, he said, I'm going to bring young players. He's like, players that maybe have never been called up to La Selección Mayor, players that, you know, play in the MLS, players that maybe play, you know, in Liga MX or whatever that are off. He's like, but it's an opportunity for them to grow and for me to see. He's like, but I also, what I want is for the fans in Austin to get their cup filled and have a good game. He's like, because at the end of the day, this is for them. It's not for us. You know, I mean, it is for them, but, you know, it's a friendly. But, you know, he was like, Texas never disappoints, and the fans, for the first time, they deserve what we are here to give, which is entertainment as well.
That's awesome.
What do you think? Okay.
That's awesome. You got a chance to talk to Tata about something like that.
Oh, he was the sweetest. I felt like we were best friends. I was like, Tata, I'll see you here. And I made him laugh. And you know,
let's go shopping.
I know. And I was like, and
awesome.
and I told him, I was like, because they put me on the spot actually yesterday. They were like, Michelle, you have the last question. Go ahead and make it a good one. And I was like, I hate when people say that because I'm like, boy, like first of all, I am the only woman here. Second of all, you're putting, and I know he didn't.
You're representing for real.
I was like, well, and then, I asked my question, which essentially was, and I think Jorge talked about it as well on his show. And, I was just like, look, from a media point of view, but I'm not Mexican media. I was like, I obviously work here in the United States. I was like, how do you deal with that pressure? You are, the coach for one of the top selecciones, one of the top, teams in the world, and you come off of a 3, consecutive loss against our rival, our biggest rival, United States. I was like, the Mexican media tears you up. I was like, so how do you deal? How do you move on forward with all that? Like, how does one do that? Because, Wolf, we saw him how he got slapped in the hand. But you really do see at a world level when you get, like, literally, they're like, we want you out, And, the Mexican media can be very rough sometimes. So, and he gave me his answer, and, it was very honest and whatnot. And he was like, the pressure is always there, but I always have to perform and I need to trust my process. He's like, even if people don't want me there. And I was like, well, respect, because you have coached, some important players, and you are coaching a very important, team. That's trying to make the World Cup.
Like trusting your process in a very tough situation.
Right.
It's easy. Like a lot of people was like, you trust your process when you're winning. But like right now, after 3 consecutive losses against the U.S. So what's your process? A lot of people will ask it, like, what's your process? What do you have in mind?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But it's like life, and it's with everything, right? Like, what's your process? Like, when they ask me, so what are you going to do? Like, when are you going to do, when are you going to do this and that? And I'm like, oh, honey, I wish it was that, But it's all a process. We all fail. I'm not saying, I'm not trying to give him like, oh, it's okay, Tata. It's only 3 losses, compared to all your wins. No, because at the end of the day, we like to look at the bad first, and then we look at the good, right? Because we expect nothing but that.
Right. Yeah, it's good to hear him take it in stride. And the media works well at kind of helping build that trust, or helping kind of erode it little by little, depending on like what type of coverage they're getting, especially with la selección de México y la prensa mexicana can be very, very, very critical. But as a fan, I'm super excited Mexico is coming to play.
Heck yeah.
On Wednesday, December 8th at Q2. I'm going with my dad, and he took me to so many games growing up, and it's one of those beautiful moments of life where it comes full circle, and I get to repay that and invite him to a game. And I'm also really excited that Tata decided to bring a lot of young players, because after the 3 consecutive losses with the USA, losing in Canada, having a tough recent record, I want to see new blood, man. I want to see new players give that chance. Right now, like, this is amistoso. The result to me doesn't matter as much, but if there's young players that are coming out and doing a good performance and just giving us esa esperanza de que hay generación nueva en el fútbol mexicano. Mm-hmm. Because when I look at USA and what they did against Mexico recently, I see a team with a lot of future. Right. And then I look at the other side, I look at Mexico, and I see the players that we've played for a long time, that are have achieved a lot. Guardado, talking about Ochoa, Hector Moreno, like he didn't play that game, but those types of names. Mm-hmm. They're not going to be there forever. Maybe Qatar is probably their last World Cup. So you got to think about the future.
Yeah, so planning ahead. And I think if we don't start planning ahead right now, it's going to be bad.
Yeah. USA's players are playing at top elite levels in top clubs and Champions Leagues. And right now, I think in the Champions League, Mexico, we only have El Machín, right? And Chucky.
Guardado still plays for Betis. You have Lainez as well, which he didn't call. Look, Mexico, I disagree. Mexico has a lot of talent. Mm-hmm. I just think that his squad wasn't giving, like, what he thought he was putting out there. it wasn't there. Like, we have too much talent to be losing 3
Right.
times.
So-
And by we, I mean,
Right.
sorry,
Here-
I am a very
Yeah.
big.
Here's the one question I have is it, say, for example, the losses, right? And then what's going on? Is it because of the players? Or like, just, you think it could be like, say, a commitment issue? It could be something that it's broken in there between the staff and the players. Because, like, say, for example, Arteaga is not part of the team right now. Salcedo, he didn't get called. So what would you say it's 1 or 2 things that are the reason why they lost from the Mexico side? I mean, we already know the U.S. stepped up
Right.
and played their game.
Of course, right, and I give them props. To me, I didn't understand what he had, even though Hector Herrera did give me the not 2-0 loss. He gave me a 2-1 loss, because I would have heard every fan in the world, it seems like, that they love to chant this 2-0, which is great. I get it. It's fine. It's soccer.
It's the thing
right?
they use to get under Mexico's skin.
Yeah.
It's what they-
gets
it's
under
what they
my
do.
skin.
And it works.
And it works. But I honestly, I was like, you should. I don't understand why he had Guardado bench. I still think Guardado, as soon as
Yeah.
he came on, you saw the difference.
The difference, yeah.
That was
I agree.
happening.
Más organizados, más
Yes,
calmados.
and you have really great strikers. Why didn't he bring Lainez? Look, Chucky didn't play Copa Oro because he got hurt. So you call him up. He's doing nothing. Who did he have? Tecatito as well on top, right?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Raul
Raul
was up top.
Jimenez. Yes, great
coming off
player.
a horrific injury.
So why? Yes, he's putting big names that I understand carry a lot of weight, but these guys haven't really done nothing. So yes, I agree. He should be bringing in young players. But my biggest issue that I was talking to my brother was talking to me. He was like, I don't understand why Lainez isn't there. I'm like, he's that little kid fights for you, and he wears that shirt. But I do think that there's strikers that are being overlooked right now.
Which would be a striker que digas, ¿sabes qué? He should have been playing, at least like starting that game instead of one of the 3 that you just mentioned.
I mean,
and Lainez.
right. I mean, I don't know. I go back and I think about, like, I know a lot of Cruz Azul players were doing really good, but I don't understand why he didn't start Cordoba either.
Mm-hmm.
Cordoba is on a hard streak, even though America got knocked out. But I mean, prior to that, he was one of the kids that went to Tokyo, and
Did well, yeah.
right, and did very well. I think, was it Romo who also went to Tokyo?
Mm-hmm.
And so, there's, he has players. I like Rogelio Funes Mori,
Mm-hmm.
but I just haven't seen anything from him. He does so much at his club,
Monterrey,
but
yeah.
for the selección, he does nothing. And,
Yeah. Who knows? Different pressures or comfort of play in his own system and coming to the selección might be affecting him. But I agree. Mexico has a lot of talent, a lot of pool to dig from, and maybe the right pieces weren't chosen, put in place for these games. But what I did see is USA came out with a plan, and it worked for them. And it was tough to see because when the game first started, I was thinking, how long could they keep up with this pace? Because it was back and forth. And at the end of the game, I saw that USA kept up with the pace, and it's always been like that. They're more physical. They have more fitness. They're a little bit larger sometimes, but in this game, it really paid off. It really paid off, especially in the wings with Weah. Weah had a fantastic game.
And the cold.
Yeah,
And-
and that's another thing. USA's gotten really smart about how to create their home field advantage. So this game in Cincinnati, I know that they really controlled the amount of tickets you could buy at once, and they made it in a way so that a lot of Mexican fans would find it hard to go and to buy tickets together and create a true presence. So I don't know.
Yeah, and then they went to the north of the wall, and
Oh my gosh,
They
what-
went to-
that was insane. Like, I'm not a Canada fan, but just seeing that was crazy, dude. We
I
spoke
was-
about it in the last podcast. They went north of the wall, man.
I was looking at the long night battle of Game of Thrones.
Dude,
and
that-
it's like
that was pretty much
reminded
that.
me what Mexico went through.
Yeah, pretty much. So it was like Jon Snow there, like.
Like the Rocky going in it for you see
That's
Chucky
so
and Tecatito and they come back.
That's funny.
Now
yeah.
I have like say regarding Mexican players. Would you rather, if it was up to
Okay.
you?
Would you rather? I feel like I'm in 5th grade.
I know,
And
right?
would you rather? Go ahead.
No, there's one that has like cotorriza. Would you rather? And it's like very bad, like the adult version of it. And it's,
Mm.
but say if it was up to you, you know what, Michelle?
Okay.
This is you have this plan with 20 players. They are playing in Cruz Azul, America, Tigres, Monterrey, Santos,
León. No forget León.
Chivas, León. ¿Quién es León?
I know they're actually
No,
doing good.
They're good. Okay, so if they were like, okay, you have these players, right? They're stars in their team, but each player has a chance to go play in Europe, in Spain, Italy. You know, the Premier. You can be
Sure.
the champions, like in England, Germany, and they're like, okay, these players can go and stay in Mexico and continue to be stars, and they will continue to have a secure spot in the selección, or se van a esos equipos donde son de media tabla para abajo, like you mentioned 1960 or
Yeah.
one of the 1860, or Salamanca de España. If they were to ask you, okay, what would you do? Would you take those 20 players out of the Mexico and put them in a uncomfortable situation where they really have to compete in not the best, situations they're currently in?
Right.
Yeah, adaptarse, or let them stay in the comfort zone in Mexico?
I mean, you're asking me if I would pick a B team or A team, essentially, right?
Like pick
Yeah.
what would you say is the best for them? Like say the glass ceiling for the players in Mexico, like in the league, would just be this high. Pero estos, you're coming a little lower, but because of the people can see you play,
Yeah.
like si le echas ganas, te va a contratar un equipo más arriba. What would you rather do?
I mean, in perfect world, I would like a mixture of both. But I mean, I think the argument that you're trying to make, that I hear a lot from people that defend the U.S. men's national youth, is that we don't have a lot of players in Europe, and all of them are like in La Liga MX. And I get that argument, but I mean, I don't know. I would just do a mixture of things. Like, I get the argument and I get what you're trying to tell me, but I don't know. I would want a mixture. I would want to pick and choose to see who wears the t-shirt on their sleeve and who doesn't, because you do need those high big names, because if not, then you get the argument, well, you don't have enough players that play in top leagues. Your system's not working. Like at the US, they have 3 players that play in Europe and their system's working, which essentially they only have a handful of players. Not in,
I mean, there's always going to be the comparison part.
Right.
So that's why it's like, oh, it's,
right.
I mean, substantially big, pero
I do think they're doing a good job, a better job than they were a few years ago when it comes to the academy. I mean, ahí es donde salió Rogelio Funes Mori de FC Dallas, him and his brother. And, he was able to excel his skills and go to Liga MX, and look at him now, right? You they are doing that, right? But if you're telling me what do I want to do for a selección, I mean, I would want my top players. And hopefully my plan works.
that works. What would you do, Koke?
It's really hard. It's really hard to think about that because, we're talking about what would we do with like this mass group of people when I think it's more of an individual case by case basis. And I think a lot of the times it's easier for players, especially from Mexico, to choose the monetary side and the comfort side versus going to play on de segunda in Spain or England or Germany. And because you lose a lot. You lose the comfort and you struggle, and you're competing at this really high level in a place you're not comfortable in a different language. So I've seen in the past a lot of players that have jumped to a B side in España or in España, and they've struggled and they've ended up coming back. Like I can think of, Omarcito Bravo had his little stint
in La Coruña,
came back, and I know Torrado was there for a while, and he came back.
El Ippolito, I forgot the name of the team. I can't remember right now. It's like a weird name.
Yeah.
He played for Racing and then Sevilla.
Yeah.
Ejido Deportivo, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
Yeah, but some players have tried it. They've tried La Aventura, and they for whatever reason, they don't get those minutes, they don't get that continuity, and they kind of start getting maybe they lose that continuity and that practice, and that especially if you're delantero feeds off of goals. It's really tough to just compete and practice and then
right
get expected to be called to the
Right.
selección and then scoring in la selección. It just doesn't happen that way. So I personally would hope that more Mexican players would say, fuck it, let's go. Vámonos, like, let's give it a shot and like really, really try and for an extended period of time.
Para el otro lado.
But I know that's easy for me to say sitting in a podcast and
Right.
and that's not my career. You know what I'm saying? They're worried about their families and making money at the end of the day. So it's tough. It's a tough question.
¿Y tú?
Yeah, I would get on each player and be like, okay, you know what? Let's study your physical aspect, and then from that we can start. Let's work on your physical, your mental, and your mindfulness, and then get you in a place where you're good physically, whether you stay here or whether you go to Europe. But at least when you go to Europe, vas a llegar listo para competir y para competir por un puesto y empezar, y no vas a llegar a no, pues a ver qué se encuentra allá.
Mm-hmm.
O sea, you're gonna give them a plan. Okay, do this, do that. So get examples of what has happened with other players.
Right.
I mean, get, for example, Guardado desde que llegó, he la rompió con La Coruña, el Principito, en Valencia, y luego en el Bayern, Leverkusen, y luego en el Betis, ha estado ahí por un buen de tiempo. So, and then we see someone like Lainez that everybody was like saying, oh, he's too young to go to Europe. He went, he struggled, he continues to struggle, but he continues to push himself and he continues to get better.
Right.
So that's making him, it's better for us because he's, you see him different. His physical aspect is different. But I would always go individual, like you say, big case by case. Like just try to see what could be something that can be enhanced.
Right.
And then from that, you can determine, okay, maybe if his best fit is to stay in Mexico or his best fit is to be out. But there are some players that I feel like they should already be thinking about going to Europe, and not staying in Mexico porque se van a mal acostumbrar.
Right.
Mhm.
Like Córdoba.
Córdoba.
Yeah.
Jorge Sanchez,
Yeah.
Romo,
Mm-hmm.
Alvarado from Cruz Azul should have been gone a long time ago.
Yeah.
Henry Martin is another one that should go. Montes, el Chapito, he should have been in Europe,
Right.
There's a lot of players that feel like
Mr. Boat.
Mr. Boat, and a lot of it is just maybe not their fault. It was just the team that
The circumstance.
Yeah, they have all. I mean, coming back, let's talk about players that are staying and leaving. It all depends on how you negotiated your contract, how your agent negotiates your contract.
There's a lot of factors that come into play.
And then you're able to decide. But yeah, I mean, you want these players to go out to Europe because look, Europe is token of soccer.
Mm-hmm.
That's where you want to end up.
It's the big leagues,
right?
Yeah.
And then the rest is history.
Yeah.
But you have a point. I mean, I would want them to go, but I also think that there's a lot of talent within the Mexican in La Liguilla. And then there's a lot of overlooked talent as well. Like we've seen cases where, they call up players that are older and they do such a good job, but they've already in towards the end of their career.
Yeah, they're in the
and
twilight.
Right, and you're not able to enjoy them. One person that I did see struggle a little bit, and, it wasn't all his fault why Mexico lost, in my opinion, but Ochoa has been
Struggled.
I saw him with America this last weekend. Is it the weekend already? I don't even know.
Almost.
But yeah, I saw him, and you can tell, like, they really need to start thinking about maybe having his replacement. Because
sure.
Maybe he's just mentally fatigued too, because this guy went to all tournaments as well throughout the summer, plays with his club, plays with la selección. So it could be that too. Do I know? I don't know. Like I don't.
Yeah, my thoughts on Ochoa is thank you for everything you've done. You were amazing goalkeeper. You have a legendary career. But as far as the national team, it's time to give other players that oportunidad.
Would you wait after the World Cup or before the World Cup?
No, I would start now, dude. Yeah, because Ochoa is
Acevedo.
Possibly.
I think if you want to make that change, it has to be with Acevedo.
It has to be between two of them. I wouldn't take Ochoa completely out.
I want him to be.
Acevedo,
I want him to be in the squad for his leadership and his experience, but give someone else that starting position and have them get those reps and that experience in before the World Cup. I mean, we're a year away.
Acevedo has that thing que es selección. Like you can see it from you can smell it. And there's players that no son de selección. Like Talavera is a good player for his club, but not for the national team.
Yeah, something happens with him.
Yeah, el único Corona maybe, but I think Acevedo needs to be in the next call-up. Hopefully he comes to us.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, talking
about
switch
the gears to domestic.
I was gonna say, so players who are staying. You want me to tell you players who are staying?
Please.
Julian
Por favor.
Cascante, Musa Gite, Cecilio Dominguez, Sebastián Driussi, Diego Fagundes, Mackenzie Gaines, John Gallagher, Danny Hausen. I don't know.
Hausen.
I am sorry, Danny.
I don't know either.
Hector Jimenez, Zan Komanich, Nick Lima, Daniel Pereira, Tomás Pochettino, Rodney Redes, Johan Romagna, Ulises Seguro, Brad Stuber, Andrew Tarbell, Owen Wolf. Owen Wolf, to me, that was a surprise. No, I'm just kidding. I mean, look, I saw that he, when they signed him, he signed a contract. Not what, he's under contract, right? Okay, and then people who are also staying: Freddie Kleeman, Will Pulisic, shout out, and Alex Ring. All right, and here are the players who got sacked: Kekuta Mane, Aaron Schoenfield. Oh my God, I'm so bad. Brady Scott. Never heard of him. No, I'm just kidding.
El que vendía las.
Aiden Stanley, please correct me if I'm wrong. Sorry.
Yeah, you're right.
Jared Strout and Ben Sweat. And then guys who went back to their clubs: Sebastian Berhalter and Manny Perez. Okay, so let's talk about the people who got sacked.
Where did he come from? Portland, right?
Timbers. And then Berhalter from Columbus Crew.
Columbus.
So most surprising sack. If you need to see the list, go right ahead.
Let me take a look at this list here. There's a lot of names that were said.
From the players I start, I think I'm good with most of them. The one that I'm still, hopefully he gets to redeem himself, Rodney Redes. And I think he had said something last time that it could be the timing, it could be him. No se acostumbró, pero he needs he's gonna need everything possible on his side, que se alineen todos los astros para que tenga una buena temporada.
Yeah, he needs to have a hell of a comeback season. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I think a unos jugadores le cuesta adaptarse a la liga de MLS. No sé si sea eso. But Ronnie Redes, he's been playing on MLS before, hasn't he? Or where did he come from?
Gurunai.
Oh, okay.
So he's from Paraguay.
Paraguay.
He came here. Austin FC's first signing.
Okay. Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, he's under contract, which is why, he's not gone because they can't get rid of him.
Right.
So he was like a no-brainer. But
I'm kind of sad about Kakuta Mane. He never had a lot of precision, pero entraba con al 100. And from what I've read about him is he was like a total personality, like as far as his relation with the community and the media and everything. So you could tell that his heart was really in it. And I know, Michelle, you could probably speak a little bit more as you've had a little bit more FaceTime and experience with him, but it's tough to see someone like that go. But all you can do is wish them the best. And, at the end of the day, it's business and they make the decisions for a reason.
You do? What was your more surprising cut?
I would say Berhalter.
Yeah.
That's one that I thought he was going to be kind of like the plan of him being, the face of the team in the future. That's what it felt like.
Sure.
Pero no, ¿cómo se llama? Le faltó, like.
You and my brother said the same thing. I thought he had a solid season. I didn't think it was his best season. I hadn't seen him play before. I thought that when he came in, it wasn't horrible, especially when Danny Pereira was injured. I thought he did an okay job, especially right next to Alex Ring. I think the stronger one is with Pereira, Alex Ring and Pereira. But yeah, I was a little surprised, but I was mostly most shocked with Kakuta Mane. I did. I felt, personally.
Part of Austin's heart.
Yes.
For sure.
He put on for his city. And, the one time that I did talk to him, because it wasn't a lot, because he wouldn't get, the Austin FC has a designated player that talks to media after the game.
Right.
So the game that I spoke to him was Tigres game when he played, I think it was his first minutes. And I thought his performance was okay overall, but I think he also felt the same way. He talked about how he couldn't get a rhythm going, or where he couldn't integrate well with the team. Like he would just do too much and he would kind of get lost, So he talked about working on that, and it seemed like he always had a lot of potential, but he was just not the right fit for the team, unfortunately.
Dominguez, he's staying.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Dominguez is
so
one of
everybody
the face.
Sit down, Dominguez haters. No, I'm just kidding.
I think Dominguez ended up. I've always felt like Dominguez is good coming from the bench.
Yeah.
He comes more relaxed. He doesn't. I don't think he doesn't really have the leadership skills that people wanted him to do. I mean, for being a DP.
Sure.
And I understand, some players come out good from the bench, like in America, like La Mataba cuando entraba de banca. And he has that, like, starting the game, his mindset is a lot different than when he comes from the bench. And those games that he came in, it was completely different. Cecilio, más calmado, entró más entonado. And we saw more of him. And let's say in those 30 minutes that he played coming in, than the 90 players he will be playing the whole game sometimes.
Yeah.
And also, yes, you want to put a player in the hot seat, but you also have to know and be aware of what your player can do for you and what time.
Right.
And Cecilio, his time was probably aguantar hasta que necesitas algo diferente.
Yeah. What about you? Your thoughts on Cecilio?
It's kind of a love-hate relationship with Cecilio. I see in most of the games that I saw him, he was many times one of the more dangerous players. Creaba muchas situaciones de gol, pero al anotar, como que no era contundente. And I think the stuff that rubs me, and I know a lot of fans the wrong way, is kind of a lot of the theatrics behind it. But that goes more into, I think, styles of soccer. So maybe
I was going to say.
it goes into style. So I understand it. it's just not my favorite thing to see and to have. Sometimes it can help you. Sometimes it threw the team off a little bit. It kind of shook the concentration during a counter or something like that when he's like on the floor rolling around. I just hope for next season, it seems like Wolf and Austin FC are backing him and kind of giving him that confidence to continue and grow. Ojalá que sí se ponga las pilas y empieza a anotar goles because he has crazy potential. Mm-hmm. He's a talented player, and I just want to see, like everybody else, him score goals for Austin FC.
Yeah. See, that's the thing about Cecilio that I will give him that. Wolf didn't play him in the position that he was used to playing.
Right. He's used to playing more of a out of the wing, right?
Yeah, he was never a 9. So for people, I understand when fans are like, he sucks, he can't score. But he was never meant to play the position that he was
number 9
told to play.
Right.
And it made him uncomfortable. And I'm sure he wasn't happy with, and you could tell in some of the games that even Jorge brought it up, that, he wasn't happy probably in certain decisions that Wolf did for him. So I just expect for Wolf next season to use him correctly and to get those players that he's able to help so they can score. And yes, he is there to score, but he's there mostly to create those plays.
To create an assist. I think that's also a huge part, that if you can have players that can score, but you don't have a player that can poner el pase, and I think Wolf should gear towards like, hey, que no sea el referente él en la parte de definir. Deja que sea que este digite. Mm-hmm. Let Cecilio be more of a creator, like you said.
Right.
Haz el pase y un centro, pero deja que el digite hace el que entre y cañonazo.
Pues sí, porque sí, I'm sure he'll be happy.
He'll be better. And one thing is, like, Cecilio was out of position because they were trying to fill in gaps from injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I mean, we had a good amount of injuries, especially in the summer, so he had to cover that, and it was tough. I mean, he came in, he was uncomfortable. Now he already knows how uncomfortable everything can get. Pero we saw more of the, what could be the future for the team towards the end when Drusi was healthy, Fagundes was healthy.
Right.
The switch of, instead of doing a 4-3-3, doing a 4-2-3-1, that helped Ring. Mm-hmm. Not be the only one out there hustling in the middle.
Right.
And then Danny Pereira, that was good. Gallagher needs more playing time.
Yeah, Gallagher, I think he's a solid player.
My wife would love that.
His wife
more
would
playing
love
time.
That.
Sheesh.
Oh, man. Well, shout out. Gallagher, before this came out, me and my brother were talking. So he does, me and him are the, my consultant.
Have you started about a podcast?
I know, right?
And then talks with Michelle.
I know, right? I need to.
We'll produce it and record it and everything.
Perfect.
Just show up with
okay, I'll just show up and talk and bye.
Y todo.
Yeah, I know. But we were talking about, and I was like, who would you keep, bro? And I was like, me. I unfortunately, Strout had one good game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Scored one goal. And that was it.
We had 2 good games.
Arguably. Some would argue. Look, I like Jared Strout. He was good. He's a great sport. When he talked to media, very great and everything. But I just didn't think he was the right fit for the club. I think who beat him out was Gallagher, possibly. At least between the conversation that I had with my brother. But I wasn't too surprised that he was unfortunately cut. But according to this press release that I have here for y'all, they're still having conversations with the guys that were, sorry, I'm translating this in English in my head because it's in Spanish, that their contracts were denied basically with the team. So maybe we will see some of these guys back. I don't know. Maybe they'll try to renegotiate for a cheaper price. I don't know how that works, right? So So maybe you won't see the last of Jared Stroud.
We're getting the allocations part of the talks and
Que
money.
quita money. It's hard. They don't really say.
I think for me is you like say either between Stroud or Mane. I would keep Mane because you can. There's something about Mane that helped DGT acclimate to the team.
Yes.
And if it wasn't because of Mane,
yes,
I hope I would have thought that DGT would have had a little more of a rough time adjusting.
For sure.
He came in with fire. DGT him and Druzy, they came in ready to go.
But Mane was kind of key to helping him adapt to the team just because of even just a language thing. I think he was the only one that spoke French.
And then I think they knew each other back too from, Yeah,
all that stuff helps adapting to a new league quickly. The way DGT did.
Yeah.
And it sucks, that's another kind of out of the field impact that a player like Mane had. So it's kind of sad to see him go. What are your thoughts? I ask this because I have thoughts on Julio Cascante.
I hated the way he played in the beginning. I like the way he finished the season. He won me over. I was very doubtful about him, but I can see what he can do, and he reminds me of kind of like a Borghetti. Okay, Borghetti, maybe that's too much of a pat in the back.
That's a big name.
No, I'm just kidding. No, but the reason I said that is because I connect, Borghetti, that, y'all know.
It's got the header.
Yeah, the
header.
Got the header. Beautiful. On. So he's been able to do many headers.
Set pieces, yeah. Yep. He's critical, in the box.
Right. So a lot of his goals were headers. And so in the box, he's a tall guy. We benefit from that. So he won me over. I think that the guy does, there needs to be another center back.
We really need a center
especially
back.
After
really need a center back.
Which, by the way, now I'm gonna say it. I'll tell you after off camera. But we have some scoop on, when was that decided? And
tell me more.
That's the other thing I got.
That content is only for our premium subscribers.
After dark.
Subscribe to el ¿cómo se llama? Vimeo or
give him your Venmo and you just send him the clip.
But now we do need another one, especially after that retirement. We need at least two more.
Yeah. But I think Julio Cascante, he won me over. What about you? I feel like you had some feelings about.
Nah, he was good. I think at the beginning he was also
questionable.
I knew that. I mean, his baby was born kind of like when we were starting the preseason, and I heard it from the guys from Top Flight. It might be right, it might be wrong.
Sure.
But that's my source.
Oh, yeah. His baby is, I think he just turned 1 because he was recommending or asking for a photographer. I didn't know you did photography. I don't know how I missed that. So I recommended.
I didn't know I did photography either.
There's few things Richie doesn't do, man. He's a man of, he's jack of all trades.
Perfect. So yes, it is around the time, but
I think it was a little concentration here and there, but he came in and that helped out. Like him and Romagna, they both improved, and we got scored on, of course. Yes, everybody's gonna say we got scored on 4 goals each game and this and that. I don't care what you say, but a lot of it is the combination of the two centers and how they talk to each other, and especially the communication you have from the goalie and also from the midfield.
Right.
That's key.
Right.
And you can tell that the communication from the goalie to those two centers in the midfield was not broken. Because, and it's something that si no se ha roto, quebrado, ¿para qué lo quieres arreglar?
Yeah.
If it's not broken, why fix it?
Right.
Communication is key, and especially in that area where, something can happen, pase, y te meten gol. And a lot of that, I feel like they can adjust and look at, okay, you know what can we do now in the positioning part? Right. Who can cover this position in case Romagna or Cascante come out of position, who can come in and cover that? And a lot of that can be adjusted in training. A lot of that can be adjusted in the preseason. But I do like how him and Romagna and Cascante were able to communicate, and I helped each other get better.
Yeah. I think Romagna, he's very slow for me, so he needs to work on his conditioning and speed.
Dude's got a big body.
He has a big body. He's a big man,
He's a
but
big
I
dude.
need you to run a little harder. I'm
Yeah,
just kidding.
for sure.
Says the one that sits down.
Yeah, we're sitting here like, you need to run.
Tú dale.
No,
He's big, but there was just some plays that they would beat him so easily because he's just such a big guy. You know, and I'm sure.
For sure. I think sometimes certain bodies they're not helpful for the sport. Maybe he's
My
just
body, dude.
maybe he's just too big.
Yeah.
Maybe that's something that he's working on the off season. Hopefully, you know, getting that speed up because, you know, it was very visible. And
he's in Colombia right now with a girlfriend, so
okay,
I don't
so
think he's
for
no, está comiendo las arepas, disfrutando de una buena cumbia.
Bro, we did things like this over here, you know, looking at like if we can improve it. Like that.
The only reason I know is because of his Instagram.
Dude, I need to follow all these players on Instagram and like saying, "Why aren't you training?" No, I'm kidding.
Oh my god.
Nah, they have lives too.
No.
You gotta we gotta respect that. Not everyone is
Cristiano Ronaldo.
not everyone is insane like Cristiano Ronaldo. You know, not everyone is like putting in the work when everyone else is
Right.
in vacation.
Serious players will, and you know, yeah, that
For
comes
sure.
with everything.
And with Julio Cascante, you know, I brought it up. For me, he was like the most like hot and cold player. In a single game, he can have a mistake where you're scratching your head and you're like, why did you fucking do that? And he can score a goal. So you're like, oh, okay, it evens out. Hopefully,
Yeah.
hopefully that he gets more consistent because I love his presence in the box. Like you were mentioning, a lot of his goals came from that. And just based on his reactions, like when he would mess up or when he would do well, you can tell that he really cares about the team. At least that it was visible from his demeanor.
The team, the fans.
The teams and the fans. So when you see a guy like that, you want him to succeed. And when you see the arc that happened from the beginning to the end of the season, it's promising and it makes you feel good. Makes you want to root for him.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, one player that I want to see more of is Owen Wolf.
You know what? Honestly,
I'm just
Bruh.
no, si está ahí, es como que si está ahí, pues.
Está jovencito, no? He's like 16 years old.
Ponlo,
he's like
you know, put him on the,
17,
17 years old.
He's
Messi
little.
was 17 too.
That's good.
Yeah.
I think it's always tough. You know, he's the coach's son.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
And a lot of people have an issue with that.
yeah.
What do you
That I
think
see
about
on
that?
social media. Look, whenever Wolf, and I'm citing, quoting Wolf, well, paraphrasing. And I quote. Isito Wolf, he said he needs to earn his spot for the big team.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know, he does need to earn his spot, but being the coach's son comes with so much pressure for that little kid.
Mm.
And I call him little kid because I'm almost 30, so I'm sorry.
No,
but
yo estoy más para allá que para no te preocupes.
so, he's going to get criticized, but so he needs to really, if he wants to play for the big team, he really needs to Wolf and his son.
Mm-hmm.
And I know he's his dad, but he's his coach first. He really needs that. He has that extra pressure to prove why he needs to be in the big team. And I hope Wolf doesn't just hand him something, which I'm sure he probably isn't, but I hope we get to see him in the preseason and see why Austin FC signed him as the first homegrown player, which, technically he is, but in all technicalities, he's not from Austin. But,
There was a lot of questions.
there was a lot of questions,
with
and
him. I mean,
but it's all technical stuff from the MLS, and I don't know how that works either.
mira, si le va bien a él, nos va bien a todos. That's what I would say.
Right.
If if everything goes well for him, it's gonna go well for everyone.
No.
So I think at the end of the day, it's just I want him to have fun, enjoy his career, but also know that hey, with great success comes great responsibility.
Oh, God, easy.
Yeah, Ronnie, Iron Man.
and his dad was a really great player.
Yeah.
My dad actually, when Josh Wolf got signed, he was like, "Oh my God, I liked him. Like, he's like, I like the way he played for the U.S. men's national team. And he's actually he was nominated to get into the Hall of Fame, you know, where players get inducted here in Frisco and, you know, big names or whatever. So he was selected as one of the candidates. I don't know if he's going to make that list, you know, because they only pick like 5 or something like that. But, you know, so Owen Wolf, Little Wolf, as they call him, has a lot of pressure. And a lot wolf to live. Or, you know, when
que se venga pa acá,
the Little Wolf.
Le damos.
Yeah.
Lo toreamos.
Yeah, I really wish him the best. I'm not gonna lie. The first time I saw him play, I was kind of like, oh my gosh, that's the coach's son. I probably heckled him a little bit because he was on my sideline, and that's kind of messed up now thinking that he's a 17-year-old getting his start. No, not so much, but I'm like, you know, oh, daddy's boy's playing on the team. Okay,
hey, it's not. You're fine. Like, you know, if you go to Argentina, if you go to Mexico, if you go to Europe, even.
Yeah, I was having fun. But putting myself in the shoes of what is it like to be the coach's son? You have everyone doubting you, everyone thinking that you got these things handed to you, and then you deal with the pressures of just being a regular player. You deal with the pressures of being the youngest player on the squad, one of the youngest or probably the youngest, and then having your dad as a coach. Like, that's a lot of things. And in a lot of sports where I've seen sons play underneath their dads, it hasn't worked out too much until they've branched out into a different team.
I mean, look at Toronto. Daddy and son are back together.
True.
Bradley. Oh, los Bradleys? That's a different story. Esos son diferente.
So now, like, do you already know who's going to come in or who are they thinking of bringing in?
I have no clue, but I hope someone from Liga MX.
We need a center back.
I've seen rumors only. I don't know. I wish I had this exclusive access. Like, it was just like, hey, Michelle. No.
You know what? I was listening to other podcasts and talking about who they hope that gets brought in, and it was funny because their reaction was like opposite of yours. Like, it was very, well, I hope it's someone domestic and someone that knows the league and that doesn't cost an arm and a leg. And I'm like, but
you need to spend the arm and the leg on a defender.
You need
the Zebra money and
you need to put in a little bit of capital
and the Yeti money.
Looking outside of the MLS is not a bad thing, man. Come on, like
I see why they're saying that, because here in the MLS you don't spend that type of money, right? Because it's the MLS. That's the argument that I hear.
Yeah, that's the argument I hear too.
I'm not defending it. Do I agree? I don't know. I don't. But yeah, I mean, like, talking about another thing, I think there's a big miss when it comes to where I come from, my raíces. I think not having a representation of me as a Mexican or having a Mexican player on the pitch, I think it's a big misconnection with me personally. And I can say, hopefully safely, that maybe with other Hispanic Mexicans that follow Liga MX, when you don't have someone who you're able to connect with on the field. I like the guys. I love every player. Grayer. But I'm not Paraguayan. I'm not from Argentina. You know, I am Mexican American, but I don't know. I just feel like there's something missing.
Yeah, I feel the same.
In my opinion, but that's
I love the guys. I love the squad. I love the diversity in the team currently, but it could always be better, man. That could always bring someone. Someone from Mexico that will just kind of resound a little bit more with us as fans, and just kind of back the Austin soccer community, because, you know, you look around the city and there's always that argument of what are Austin's roots and what is that character and how is it changing, and with what we're seeing now, this kind of quick growth, are we losing that? So with the team like I see right now, and depending on the signings that happen in this next season, I think you can make an argument that, yeah, we are kind of losing that. We have like this hidden, you spoke about it before, Richie, we have this hidden monster, this hidden voice of the Latino community, the Mexican American community here in Austin, and that it just needs that microphone. It just needs that push. And having a player of Mexican descent on the Austin FC team, I think would be something special that we can all connect with.
Who would you bring?
That's a big question. Right? That's a big question.
That's a big question. Give me 3 players, que
You're asking for too much.
Okay, the reason why 3 players, give me like, okay, this is your dream, this is your, más o menos, es que, okay, this guy right here has potential.
You're going to have to start off.
I can start off. I could say, for me.
I already know who you're going to say.
Who?
You're probably going to say Layun.
Nah, Layun.
Or you're going to say Pablo Aguilar.
Nah, Pablo Aguilar.
Okay.
I mean, we already got wingers. We already got carrileros.
Okay.
So
Never mind. Could be wrong, Richie.
For my hope to bring in,
Yep,
it would be Salcedo. Just because he will have something different that the team needs. Y es como que más garra. He has that cuando quiere. De que, okay, puede, good level and someone that can be achievable. Diego Reyes, I think he's still young, 30 years old. He can still bring in some, experience from Europe. And the one that you got to get him while it's hot is the Ared Ortega, the one that played and he plays for Toluca. He might be coming to Austin. He might be in the list.
I was trying to see. I know y'all know Kako probably, right? I saw him, tweeting.
Kako, saludos.
Yeah, saludos. Who did he say? Vincent Johnson. I think. I believe they were after. There were rumors that they were after him. Last season as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I don't know. To me, I would have loved and I still...
Well, more so like in the defense part at least. That's
Hector Moreno, to me, would have been awesome if he would have came.
True.
He wanted to come. They didn't want to pay the money.
Yeah, that would have been a great signing. And in a position that would be perfect for us, what we need right now, center back.
Right.
Yeah, players like that, like Diego Reyes, I'm not too sure about his current performance, but with his experience, I can see him being a valuable asset. One thing that you touched on, Richie, is Salcedo, bringing that personality, bringing that ferociousness, and it's something that I know some players in Austin FC has, but it just doesn't translate a little bit when I watch the games. Like, I can see Diego Fagundes having that sass, like he's really like going after it. But a player like Salcedo would bring that, would bring that in a different way. Sometimes a little bit too much, as we've seen with La Selección. He's kind of a little off.
Yeah.
But it would be exciting to see a player like that come to Austin FC. I don't know. Who are your thoughts, Michelle?
I don't know. There's a few good players that I've seen from Pumas. That would be nice. There's just so much talent that I think that we're probably going to see as well come next Wednesday, that Wolf said that he was going to also look at. He wasn't going to count them out. So there's a lot of young players that we may not be thinking about.
Yeah.
That,
Now, was this on purpose so they can scout players?
Bajita la mano? No, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I think it's good for with them that we're in Texas and that we're in Austin, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's hard for me to say who would I want here, because all the guys that I am fan of are very impossible to get here.
Yeah, a little unattainable.
Yeah. But because it is about the money issue.
But I mean, we got Yeti. Right. Yeti got our back.
With the amount they charge us for coolers, I think they could afford.
Yeah, $300 for a cooler. That's like 3 times,
$300 for a cooler?
Yeah.
Oh wow! I was gonna say $70.
Hombre, that's $70 right there.
Oh my! Yeah, and it probably
Shout out to Yeti.
Now. It probably is.
No, what's funny about Yeti, and probably all brands, you look at a cooler, you're like, this one's $300. This same exact cooler is $500. Why? Oh, it has a UT emblem on it. Oh. Okay.
Yeah,
Hook 'em.
it's crazy.
All right.
It's
So-
crazy.
Now let's talk about the community aspect. One thing that we see that the team actually started doing pretty good is connecting with their fans. I mean, they gave a lot of opportunities to artists, to Los Verdes behind us, Los Verdes.
Oh wow! Shout out.
Shout out. And one thing that I really liked is how they brought in so many opportunities for so many different types of people. And the one thing that we mentioned earlier is that, yes, it was there in the fans part, but there was still something missing. And I feel like it could be the connection with the team and the Latinos. It just felt like there was something there that they actually were able to fix towards the end, like when they did Los Muertos, when they did that video, and I mean Selena, being in the tifo. Half of the songs are in Spanish, but they're from Los Verdes. But I still feel like there's probably something there that we're missing, and I think, like you were saying, the player could be the one thing that gives us that voice in the field.
Right.
That makes us more feel like our home. I mean, it's already our home, but if it makes us feel like, you know what, faltó esa salsa para que pique bueno taco.
Right. Because when Mexico comes, that's home's gonna be there, even if the top 11 players aren't there, right? The home's gonna be there. They're there to represent us, right? But what I think you're telling me is that you feel a disconnect with the team.
In some aspects, yes. I think there should be a Twitter account, a social media in Spanish for the amount of people that we have in Austin. I think there should be, and actually we can mix communications and community here. Also, they should have a podcast or something that people can hear in Spanish from the team. That's something that it's pretty attainable and achievable, and it's quick. Like, look at us right here.
Yeah.
Hint, hint.
Shut up.
Hey, if we do it, would you be down?
Yes, of course.
So I think there's something missing, and especially in the Spanish part. They're doing good things. They're doing good. They're adjusting, and they're the new team as well. I mean, nothing's gonna be perfect, but I feel like there's something missing that it should be more like, not just, oh, you know what, we have a first social media and we're gonna post pictures, like a little more depth. Like, for example, when was the last time we heard Cecilio talk in Spanish in social media? Like, we do see him in pictures here and there, that's fine.
Yeah.
Or Fagundes, Cascante. I mean, do you know Cascante speaks Spanish? Do you know Romaya speaks Spanish? But when was the last time you heard his voice? When was the last time you heard their voice in a place where they can talk more about themselves towards the fans?
Do you know Tomas sings? Did you know that?
No.
Like, he's a singer. Like, he sings, and he has a beautiful voice.
Tomás Pochettino. Oh, yes. I thought you were saying like Tomás sings. I'm like, I've never heard of that person.
Never heard of him.
My
This bum out of here.
They should
I'm over
do
here.
something.
I'm over here thinking like, wait, what did I literally try to keep up with everything.
Who the?
Ese güey quién es?
My bad.
Poto Pochettino sings. So something like that could be an opportunity, you know?
Right.
Like, what do you guys
You
think?
could hang out with the crowd and sing to them. That would be awesome. I don't know. I hear you. I want to hear your thoughts. Do you feel the same or no?
I feel not entirely the same, but I hear what Richie's saying. So for me, I've seen the effort made by Austin FC to really connect with the Latino community, from little things such as, just some of the ways that the team has communicated on social media, and like kind of the language on like even the jerseys. It says, Verdes, Los Verdes. So I see the intent to connect, and with different types of events that they've made, like Dia de los Muertos, they had an event at the stadium. But I do agree with Richie that at the end of the day, I think what would most resonate with us as fans is if you celebrated the Latinos on your team and gave them the chance to celebrate their identity and help you connect it would go a long ways to help you connect, hearing these players speak in their language and talk about their backgrounds and stuff. So maybe it's just something that I've missed, but I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it like Richie was saying. So maybe something that can be worked on, and that I think it would help everybody feel a little bit more like, oh yeah, este equipo es de nosotros.
Yeah. Here's the thing. You know, I see the effort that they're doing. I'm with you. I've talked to them about this.
Mm-hmm.
I've talked to them about having a platform dedicated to, like, I work in Spanish media. I talked to them about having a Twitter dedicated to only your Spanish, you know, audience. Like LA Galaxy has one. Many other teams, I think San Jose may have one. I did actually a Word doc to see who has them. It's a handful of teams. Not every team does it, because here in the United States, bilingual is a thing, right? So from my understanding, I believe that they are trying to do the bilingual stuff. So they want to have everything in one platform. And if they're going to have a, you know, press release, they're going to have it in English, but they're also going to have it in Spanish. Or they're going to tweet in English and they're going to tweet in Spanish. Me personally, I think that that's great, but I do think that everything should be dedicated to something else. I think if they are going to do this bilingual stuff, then they should do it for every post that isn't necessarily true that they do for every post, right? Or if you're going to do bilingual, then put in some words in Spanish, right? In one post, like, you know, we miss ya, nos extrañamos, like you know, hashtag, and then just one picture, right? Because I'm scared that embracing the Hispanic culture, the Mexican culture, is going to backfire if you don't do everything in its entirety. Then you're kind of appropriating my word, right? You're appropriating what my culture means, and you it's fine if you embrace it, but if you don't do it 100%, like El Grito de la Independencia, I heard nothing, you know, and it's a big deal. Like, you have a grito right here at the Capitol, you know, and for them to not to even tweet something, to me, was a little offensive in a way, because I'm not saying the majority of people are Mexicans or Hispanic that go to the soccer game, but if you are going to use a language or Tex-Mex or Spanglish or just Spanish in general with your marketing, you need to make sure that you cover all grounds and that you're not appropriating, because if not, it's going to backfire. And if next season some fans feel angry or resentful that they feel left out, that the club is kind of leaving them out and everything's just focused in English, but then you're making money off of a Spanish word, then yeah, it's not going to be a pretty look.
It's going to be one of those things that I've seen it, because I saw it happen with the Dynamo. I mean, I don't know 100% of, you know, but from the beginning, there was not a connection with the team and the Mexican community. And even the coach were like, well, I mean, why should I go and get players from Mexico when we can get them cheaper somewhere else? I mean, that's what I heard from, like,
the economic factor plays a huge thing.
Yeah. And it's kind of like, I think you should not say that, especially in a place like Houston.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I think, you know, and that's our responsibility on the marketing team and their vision. And, you know, I don't want to call out no one, but if you're white and you're doing something for Black Lives Matter and you know nothing about Black Lives Matter or just any other movement, but you want to put out a tweet, but you don't even give for a charity or nothing,
Right.
then you're just doing it for, as the kids say, for the clout. So I hear you, and I think they're aware of that, but it just they're not pushing it because it hasn't backfired on them, or there hasn't been enough people that have been outspoken about.
Right. Because publicly, I mean, you already have like Club Deportes mention stuff.
Right.
Top Flight mention stuff. I mean, here we're not like reporteros. We don't do that type of
Right.
content, but we want to be aware of the situations. Like, hey, I mean, like you said, cuidado porque si no la raza o te quiere o te odia.
Right.
And I think they
Right.
have
This
to
is a
understand.
honeymoon phase.
Right.
It is a honeymoon phase.
Yeah, I think next season is gonna be a little more tough.
It's going to be a real indication of the direction that the team is moving in. And one thing I want to touch on is just to be real. You look at Houston, you look at Dallas, you look at San Antonio, and you look at Austin. And when I think about Austin, if I'm being real, I think it's the whitest out of all those cities. When I walk around downtown, I see not that much diversity. And what Austin FC has done so far, to me, is I didn't fully expect it with the way they've tried to embrace Spanish language and the culture and the stadium culture. But I did see it as kind of a welcome surprise. And because when I think about football, I think about the diversity behind it and the specialness and how it's brought our communities together, especially the Latino community. And I think, like, what an excellent opportunity to change the perception, because my perception is that Austin isn't diverse as these other cities. But in the sport of football, we have that opportunity to kind of say, hey, hold up. There is the community here, and it wants to say something, and it wants to cheer and back this team, and we're gonna embrace it and hug it and like celebrate it. And I think that's what we're trying to get at.
Yeah.
But without doing the work for it, the homework, and just putting the facade, it could be seen as
Right.
it could be seen as fake. It could be seen as offensive.
Right.
But this is great. I don't think none of these topics are spoken about in other platforms. So I'm glad we're talking about it here.
Yeah, and it's. I mean, at the end of the day, we're saying it because we want. I mean, we want to be there. We want to be the ones at the microphone. We want to be the ones that feel represented. And then, like for me, I'm not gonna be crying, complaining, and getting mad at people and calling people out. Like, no, like I want to be out there knocking on doors. Like, hey, where can we, talk? What can we do? Like there's plenty of stuff. I did see one thing that was on Saturdays. Monica Maldonado with Más Cultura. She was having all the lowriders around the stadium, having like an event. I don't know how much of that connectivity was with the team or whatnot, but when we went to the Houston game, the lowriders escorted us out, until we hit like 130 and 290. Like, man, I should have kept going, and we were going to Houston. Y hice hermanos en casas con los ultras.
That's awesome.
But that was one of the things that, like, I didn't know that was happening. But then again, there's a lot of those things that, like, say we don't know what really they're doing or what their plans are. But I do want to feel like, I do think they should not feel like, I do feel like they should be more intentional and vocal and reach out to the community. Like, hey. And a lot of it is also they put so much work on Los Verdes, and I feel like Los Verdes shouldn't be doing the work for Austin FC. Austin FC should be doing the work for Los Verdes, because Los Verdes is only going to do so much.
Right.
Los Verdes, they're going to bring the people, they're going to bring the supporters. I mean, we already know they're going to be there no matter what. But I feel like the team needs to do the work for Los Verdes and grant more permissions to do more things, or themselves hire people that can be, this is going to be, like this one person is going to be acknowledging everything possible in a Hispanic community.
Yeah.
Because that would be huge. And I'm talking about like someone that is not just like, won't be offensive, but someone who's not third generation, American. Someone who's like, was born in Mexico, or not Mexico, or like Latin America, or someone who's first generation that already knows the struggle. Mm-hmm. Because the one thing we want something that's more deep, and I think that's what we're trying to get to. Yeah,
you want to feel connected, and yes, I hear you, because I feel, apart from media side, apart from being a journalist, as a fan, I feel a little bit disconnected, and I know a few people that do too. And a lot of people don't feel included in the team from personal conversations that, it may be for different reasons. I'm not saying, Austin FC is doing a bad job. I'm just saying, like, there's just a disconnect. There's something missing. But, I have expressed as well my concerns with the right people. And I can only do so much, and they can agree to disagree or whatever. But, yeah, I mean, I think they have done a good job by hiring my former anchor at CBS, Chris Saldana, who does the PA stuff. So, he's Mexican American. His dad's from, or lives in El Valle, something like that. I forget where he's from. But so they do a good thing about trying to be diverse and everything. But I think, as you said, like, Los Verdes can only do so much. And I'm not a part of Los Verdes just because I want to keep that a little bit separate. Right. I would love to be part of them, but I kind of want to keep that a little bit separate. And I'm very friendly with Gabby and everything, but, it's just, I don't want to cross the line that then I can't be objective about things. You know what I mean? So I think it's just like more like work related.
And you're in a good position where you can be objective and
right.
you can be, have your own point of view, which is good. I think that's why I was like, when I talk about, if we're gonna do an end of the year season, we have to do it with a person that can be unbiased in a lot of things.
Right. And I do think a lot of fans are very, very toxic on social media, by the way.
Social media. Oh my God.
My goodness.
It allows people to be their worst version without
wanting to be ugly.
Yeah, without having to face the consequences, unless you really do something fucked up. But kind of going back to your role, to your platform, what has been your impressions about the relations with the press and with Wolf? Kind of how has that been now that a whole season has gone through and you've seen interactions with them, you've been in that room, in that scenario. What are your impressions on that?
He definitely gives off, how I come in here and I'm very cheery. You can tell I'm cheery. Right. Yeah. Y'all don't know me, so if I'm mad, you can definitely tell I'm mad. So that's how he is. He, in my opinion, he's, after a loss, like whenever they lost at home against San Jose and they were winning and then they lost, that game, he was very angry. And so, but, there was an instance with Eric Goodman that he asked him a question, if he thought that the team had given up. It was actually at San Jose, and I'm sure y'all saw it. He was like, that's a bullshit question. I was like, Josh,
I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say this is a bullshit question.
Exactly. So, he's learning too. I mean, he's a first-time coach. He's the one that's on the hot seat all the time. So he gets to answer our questions. Overall, he's treated me nice. I'm not there to get him or be like, whatever. I know Jorge does a great job of asking him questions that he's interested in, and a lot of the fans are as well. So, and it keeps him accountable. And, I know, there was like an issue with, a rumor saying that Jorge wasn't allowed, but I don't think that was an issue. I think that was a misunderstanding, if anything. Yeah. And I think Jorge spoke about that, and he made that clear because, you don't want to get on a club's bad side as well, because that will restrain him from doing his job or from doing what he loves, which is Club Deportes. And so, I think he has all the right to ask whatever he wants. Or to go to any game, unless he does something that's really, hey, dude, you crossed the line. But yeah, I mean, overall, pretty good. Everyone has been nice. Every player, if I ask, hey, is this person available, whatever, very nice. talk to me, and I hear that everyone in the club likes me, so that's nice. I was like,
that's good.
Thank you.
It's good to
I
have
was
that
like, I
rapport.
didn't even know y'all knew who I was.
I remember the one press conference with Stuber, and then you asked him. I think he was at home.
I
And
was
then
at home.
You were at home.
Oh my god.
And then your dog
My
made a
dog
noise, and then Stuart was like, "Don't worry, I have my dog too, and I love him." And that, because it was a very rough day for him, because I think they had lost that game. And it was a press conference where like her dog started barking, and then Stubert's face, like demeanor, was like, "I have a dog too."
And that's what I mean. I'm not there to do a gotcha. I'm gonna ask maybe uncomfortable questions, maybe that you may not like, but I mean, most of the things it's like, you come off from a poor performance, like, what happened or blah, blah, blah. It's just things that we all see, right? And things that they're going to
Yeah. And a lot of those times, like with Stuber and Wolf coming off of tough results, they're coming with a lot of emotion.
Right.
And, you got to toe that fine line as someone that's asking the questions and interviewing them, is like, how can you ask those tough questions in a way that allows them to know that you don't have a bad intention?
Right.
And that's tough. And I wouldn't know how to do that. That's actually really cool that you work in that field. But
no. Everyone's nice. I mean, from my experience, everyone's treated everyone with respect. And like I said, like the front office is great. The new PR guy is really great. He's very engaged with the community. He's trying to do his best job, because I mean, I don't know if Austin FC had like 3 different public relations guys or 2 that left. One left, and then it was like the guy that was on a trial didn't make it, unfortunately. And then now we have our
that's
new
a crucial position.
Exactly.
Especially, I mean, that's the one that connects the team to the people.
Yes, and to the media. And so he's great. I met him for the first time because of COVID. Everything's so virtual still, but I met him for the first time. Great guy. He has a good vision. And so I told him about things that we can improve on. And one of the things was that. And, social media, or doing a little bit more in Spanish for those who don't. I think their worry is like that they don't think that these people are paying attention, and in social media, who has Twitter. Like my mom doesn't have Twitter. So I think that's their, I am assuming that that's what they're saying or thinking. But overall, I think their intention is it's good. But, he asked me what I thought, and he asked me what they can improve on. And I told him, and we had a great conversation. And it's like, yeah, you know what? Yeah.
The one thing is like you brought it up, like say they're probably not aware, like, oh, these people have social media. And I was like, dude, have you seen my grandma?
Or WhatsApp.
Or WhatsApp. No, and I think a lot of the times we tend to also like demonize the fact that people are not aware of our problems.
Yeah.
And we tend to like get mad about that. And it's like it should not be like that.
Right.
It should not be like, okay, say for example, I know like Koke said something, but he said like, oh, Rich is wearing a black shirt. But it's actually dark gray or charcoal. And it's just, Koke wasn't aware that, hey, this is my favorite shirt. And he said it was black, but it's actually charcoal. And
cancel culture, that's what it's called.
Yeah, and it's just one of those things that
just don't get canceled.
También, o sea, la raza, yes. There's a lot of things that we can get, but a lot of things that, hey, we're not going to get everything. So también bájele. Because then, porque también no queremos que sea como, at the end of the day, there's other communities as well. Like we have the Asian community.
Of course,
we have, the black community. I mean, we have so many other communities that it shouldn't, at the end of the day, just be about Hispanics and the team. No. The team, has to be aware of, other ways they can expand. And the more they expand, like say, for example, Happy Hanukkah.
Right.
Something like that, they can show some appreciation and love.
Of course.
I think that's going to be huge for the relationship with the team and the players.
And the community.
For example, Asian New Year is going to be coming up pretty soon in a couple of months. A good way to get people that are, part of the Asian community that are leaders and they can, share their story and the team and how the team impacted their community.
Right.
Stuff that can help.
Yeah.
I think all of these talks at the end of the day bring opportunity.
Right.
And opportunity for us to go and knock on doors and not stay home and Twitter and be mad and be toxic and cry about everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I hear you and I get what you're saying. I think my only issue personally is that they're using, and you say Hispanics or Mexicans, but they're using Spanish to communicate with their audience. So that would be my issue. My, I guess, point would be just like, okay, you're using this, but you need to, if you're going to use it, you need to exercise it all the way.
No más me digas, hola, si nos invitan por unos tacos.
Pues sí, algo. Which is great. They have one taco at the stadium.
There you go. There you go.
But I mean, like there's room for improvement everywhere. I think overall they've done a great job. And hopefully I wish them more success. But I'm glad we're having a conversation and it's a healthy conversation.
For sure.
But
No trancazos. We still have unbroken glasses.
There you go. We don't have to be rowdy all the time.
And anything you guys want to add? I know you were traveling. You went to Chicago and you went to New York.
I did.
And you've been all over the place.
I wish.
All over the US.
It felt like that. Honestly, I didn't. I went to go visit a friend over the weekend. You call it traveling. I call it a weekend
Getaway.
Going over there. Yeah, real quick.
That's all you need sometimes.
I know. So I went to New York City to go visit my college friend who does like freelance journalism, photography, and editorial for like the New York Times and all these bougie ones, right?
How cool.
She's amazing. She's a badass. So I went to go visit her. But being a freelancer is so amazing. Like she only works like 3 days a week. And get paid. She gets paid.
She gets paid.
Gets
money.
It's there you go. I can't even talk about that money.
¿Estás tomando
No,
water
I already had my second sparkling water. But yeah, they pay very well, and I'm just like, wow, I get paid less than that, and I work a lot.
But do you pay more money on like living?
She does, yeah, $3,000 for rent. 2 bedroom, 2 bath for apartment. Ooh, shout out in Harlem, but Harlem's beautiful. So yeah, I went there, and then I went to go celebrate my best friend's 30th birthday in Chicago. So that was a lot of fun. Never had been to Chicago. It was a great time, but I still love New York.
New York has taken your heart.
Oh my gosh, yes. I there one day.
Both. I think I went to Chicago first and then New York.
Yeah.
Like both are different.
Yeah, one's little clean and the other one's big and dirty.
Dirty, yeah.
I like big and dirty.
No, the first time I went to New York, I came back like, but the second time I went, it's like,
it's fun.
Why do we have to go back? I can live here.
Yeah, right. It's awesome, but yeah. Thank you.
I'm glad you got to have some time off. I know you're busy. Well, you're gonna be busy again. In the holiday.
It won't end. It'll end one day when I retire.
Yeah, when you retire.
Or when work doesn't feel like work.
Or when you do freelance.
Yeah, or when I do freelance or more stuff. I'll actually be doing a little bit more content for Telemundo, which is nice. So I was up my contract was up, and trying to do what I can and fulfilled my dreams and goals. And so I'll be doing a little bit more on air stuff with Telemundo. Luckily, I was able to negotiate that. And, it's very rare that happens when you don't come. Thank you. When you don't come from a other news station with already experience. So it's nice that they're giving me, they know how much I love soccer and love covering Austin FC and have these connections. So it's really nice. Being a woman, sports isn't easy. A lot of people, they retweet a man before they retweet a woman. So that's always disheartening, but it's fine.
Pero en el podcast, Otra,
it's really not fine, but we're going to say it's fine, but it's not.
Right. It is what it is. I guess that's what you say, right?
No, we
I hate that. I hate that. And hearing you, I hear a lot of the echoes of what my sister talks about in her realm. And just some of those challenges that you face as a woman in the media is tough to hear as just a dude that is hearing like in a situation where we're all on the table and you have an idea or you have something to say, your voice isn't getting the respect that it deserves. So
yeah,
I'm happy you're here on our platform on Otra
you.
por favor, and you're getting that chance to speak your mind, and I've loved everything you've said.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
well, I appreciate
the
it.
fact that like the team, I mean, at the end of the day, the team coming in brought a lot of opportunities, and you're for sure when it comes to the communications and media in Austin regarding football and soccer, like your name is mentioned.
That's awesome.
And that's good to hear, because we need that, like we need a female representation, and you're bringing that.
Right.
Now I hope the team continues to like give you more access to stuff, because it's gonna benefit them. I think,
of course,
the communication you bring, everything you share, it's always something that's beneficial, informational. It's not like talking crap about someone and saying,
right. It's not.
El Fagundes, nombre de zapatos verdes en vez de negros.
Right.
No, but we do
Exactly.
appreciate like what you do. Like every time there's a chance for you to communicate something, you could do it.
Yeah. I'm here to inform. That's what it was. The story's not about me. It's about y'all. Inform y'all.
Now this one is about you, because you're our guest. So
For sure. So yes.
No, and one more question I have is, I already asked you like what year to remain sane, and we're gonna one that I have is, if you would give advice to the younger version of yourself, what would it be?
Don't give up. I know it's hard. It was a hard decision for me to stay here in Austin. I was about to pack my bags and leave. But things ended up working up my way. I see that things maybe in the next year, hopefully this opens more doors to other opportunities. A lot of the conversations that I've been having lately have been very positive. But just don't give up. Even if it feels like it's the end, even if you've been working crazy hours and, you feel like you're not getting anywhere, if you dedicate yourself, you will eventually get noticed. It just adversity, try to persevere through it and just keep a head strong and stay true to who you are, because there's some times where you try to mimic the person next to you and that's very successful and you're just like, oh my God, why can't I be like that? Like but use your colleagues as motivation to push you, and everyone's here for a reason, and everyone has their own, I guess, characteristic about themselves that makes them different from the person next to them. So that's what I would just give my younger version. I'm still 29, but I'm still young, so I'm still learning. But I think for now, that's what I've been. I can say safely that is true. Things will eventually work out your way. Just don't give up. And if you feel like in your heart that what you thought you wanted to do is no longer what you want to do, it's okay to switch gears. You don't have to prove anything to anyone. You just live your life, because we know we lived through a pandemic and we know this life is short and we don't have it guaranteed, and anything could happen at all times. So do that thing that you want to do and just shoot your shot.
Beautiful.
Shoot your shot.
Well said. And I think that's something that we all need to hear. It's what you said about not giving up and not having to try to imitate others' path to success or what seems like success. We spoke a little bit about social media, and that's just a highlight reel of people's lives. And it's comparison is a thief of joy. That's what they say. And I just want to give a shout out to Chaparro, who would have been here with us. And I hope by the time you hear this episode, you're feeling much better. Mm-hmm. He's a little bit under the weather. He would have been here with us, but him, Richie, yourself, Michelle, are people that always push me to continue down my path. And hearing you say that is good to hear. I think it's a good reminder and a good encouragement and motivation to succeed in our own way.
Sure. Everyone motivate. Hey.
No, it is like Chaparro, we miss you. Hope you get better, and we'll see you. We'll see you on the next one.
Yeah, we'll see you in the next one.
So.
Next time I see him, I will ask him how his New York trip went.
And El Salvador trip.
And El Salvador.
Oh,
That's
we
right.
didn't tell he we didn't even know he was in El Salvador until
I didn't even know he was in El Salvador.
I didn't know either.
Hey, man.
We see
Where's Carmen San Diego? Where's Chaparro? I don't know.
We see him with a face mask in an airplane, and I thought it was like from New York, him coming back. And like, I thought you were supposed you're already back. And then, hey, and he's like, hey guys, I'm in El Salvador right now. No, he checked in. He put like a picture of the El Salvador airport. He's like, what? And then he's like, yeah, I'm in El Salvador. And I was like,
so
dude.
spontaneous.
And he's like, I'll be back on Monday.
Oh,
Like,
It was
dude,
very
you went
spontaneous.
on Friday and you're coming back Monday. That's a quick trip.
That is a quick trip. Why
Right.
I would, man.
Yeah.
I would have just been like, I'm not coming back, actually.
Yeah, I know, right? Pupusalandia right there.
Eso.
Oh, well, I miss him. He was a great host last time as well. I mean, both of y'all are. You weren't here last time, so welcome.
Thank you.
When did this happen, by the way?
Coque?
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I just showed up one day. And
Yeah,
Yeah,
never
she was
left.
like, hey, hop on the mic.
Yeah, so he's always been talking about like podcast ideas and everything, and I've had on my mind to join, but I just wanted to wait for the right time, and then I was like, okay, I think we're gonna grow, we're gonna do add the visuals and everything and Coque sends in a message, okay, dude, can we have a talk about the podcast? And like, yeah, sure. And then like tell him, you want to come and hang out on the day we recorded on the Monday? Yeah. And then Chaparro and I, we were going to record like that by ourselves that day. And Coque's in the corner just sharing his ideas. And then Chaparro was like, hey, tell him to hop in the mic. And like, all right, cool. So then I was like, I already knew I wanted to ask him, but I did ask him like, as we were recording, and I think we asked him like as we were recording, right?
Yeah.
And
I was
not like
here in
before
my
or
gym
after.
clothes.
Not like, so you
just
want to join the
hopped on the
podcast? He's like, for real? So that's
For me, it was like
Oh.
being called to the Avengers, man. I felt like, oh
Yay.
shit, I'm about to join this
That's
club.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, you're a great host.
yeah.
Thank
So
you,
he brings
thank
a
you.
lot about information and a lot of the stuff. Like Chaparro is very good at conversation and very good like a lot of the things like he always has the one question that like, oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
And then Coque has more of that information part. He
Yeah.
looks at you, visualizes everything you say, and then comes in with like his thoughts,
Yeah.
and also reads poems.
Oh, nice.
He did it by last time.
Poetic.
I know, right? So I
Oh.
thought, but yeah, no, like Michelle, appreciate you, coming. An honor, and I know I'm pretty sure we're gonna do it again whenever the season starts.
Oh,
or
of
mid-season.
course. Let's come in
So-
hot.
Yes.
And hey, if
Hey,
Shots.
maybe-
I want you coming in
maybe-
shooting shots like you did the first.
Of
this other episode.
course. and then like if anything, on your behalf, I can ask a question to that you may have to, I don't know who it may be, Wolf or a player, because they do stuff, and I could give you all a little shout out.
Oh, for sure.
yeah, just
That'd be
ask
awesome.
him. We do want to. I didn't want to like ask him to come in. I wanted to ask him in the right place in the right time and be like,
Sure.
hey, when can you come and have a conversation with us? I
Sure.
want it to be a solid thing after a certain amount of episodes with different various type of guests, not just be like after 2 episodes. So you want to
Yeah.
hop in the mic?
Yeah.
Like I did send like Fagundes, and I sent out the players like, hey, just Otra, por favor. I sent them the links of the
Oh,
the
you did?
episodes. Yeah.
Oh, you should
Now,
invite them. Are they down?
Well, I only get like seen and heart, and that's it. But I mean, we're not. No, it's all good. I don't take it. Cascante will reply, like, oh man, thank you for your support, guys.
Aw.
Because I tell Cascante, hey, good job today, man. Or even when he got the red card,
Hey.
that was not deserved. So, yeah, we got to work harder. Like, yes, but that was not deserved.
Aw.
But I do want to, like, if there's a way we can get players. I also want to get the owner.
Yeah.
I want to get him in pre-court. Like, we just have him here to talk about his
Sure.
experience as the owner. Like, a really good guest. And pretty much anyone, I'll give you the list, and it'll be like the 22 players and then the ones that come. But yeah, I mean, if you can get us, help us get someone here. I mean, a
in
block away
person.
from the
Yeah,
stadium,
for sure. Yeah.
especially in Spanish.
In
We
Espanol.
can do it in Spanish.
I do recommend for you to have Jorge on here. He's spicy.
Jorge sounds like he would be an excellent
Jorge
guest. Based on the
Iturralde.
way you talked about him and the questions he's asked, we would love to
Yeah,
have him.
no, he's great. He's great. I know he does the same for me. I know he's an advocate for me and wants me to do great. So
That's
I
great.
speak for.
And that's
He's
what we gotta
always-
do, man.
He's always doing a shout out to you, like
Yeah.
especially
Oh, I see.
yesterday.
Yeah.
He's like, so yeah, con Michelle, I heard your name. I'm like, oh, we're gonna have her tomorrow.
And speaking of shout outs, before we forget, Roma is getting a major city
Oh,
shout out.
Roma
Oh
Desai,
yes.
Yes.
Shout out.
our friend Roma.
I am so sorry. I haven't met you in person. Shame on me. It's just, I don't even know where I'm at half of the time. But yes, I hope to one day meet her. She's been to all.
I tell you what we can do one day is we can have you, Roma, and Serafina or Gavi
Sure.
come in. You guys run that episode, and I'll just produce it for y'all.
For
The
sure.
woman-led Otra, por favor,
Dale.
episode.
Dale.
Otra, por favor.
Dale, vamos a hablar de
Let's
fútbol,
go.
chicas.
Let's go.
Yeah, there we go. So, hey, Roma, here's the idea.
There's an
Let me
idea.
know.
Oh, well, congrats to her. She's a great Austin FC fan, and like, wow. Even Gabby, like, I'm just like, girls, the amount of work and energy that you put into this team is more than I have, probably. But a shout out to both of y'all
So 2022.
and to all the women supporting Austin FC.
Of course.
2022, there's some good stuff coming. We got some plans on the way, and it's continue to, it's always going to continue to get better.
Yeah.
And if you guys have any questions, any ideas you want to give us, we're always open to hear your idea.
Are y'all gonna have We're Austin TV?
I want to.
Should have one,
El Hernán, El Primo, Ryan.
Yeah. They like to get riled and crazy.
Yeah, so I think that way that one would have to be literally like 4 chairs.
Yeah.
And then just a cooler in the front.
Yeah. That one's gonna be fun.
I want to be in between Ryan and Bali as they go at it with each other.
Yeah, that's gonna be fun. I think that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, shout out to our friends from Top Flight Podcast and We Are TV.
Yeah.
They're good people. Like every time I talk to them,
Yeah?
they're controversial as hell, but they're
Yeah.
good people.
I don't know them. I don't know them personally.
No,
But
they're cool. I've hung out with them. Actually, one day for the Galaxy, I drank a lot of water, and I can't remember because the water was so strong. I can't even remember. Like I only remember hearing goal and goal, but that's because I was hanging out with them before the game. So, but it was
that's
fun.
why.
It was
It's
fun.
crazy. Wow.
But yeah. There's.
Well, I'm excited for you, and both of y'all's podcasts, and the third person not here, but him too, and for y'all to grow the podcast and anything that you need or any support, I'm happy to do it when and if I can, all the things, and yeah, best of luck.
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
Appreciate
Michelle.
it. Ciérranos, Coque.
Otra, por favor, podcast. Thank you for listening. Please share with your family and friends. Let us know what you want to hear. Give us a shout. Get into our DMs. Thank you. Thank you for listening, y'all.
Peace.
Adios.